Hi, Loner. What's up? Whoosh. Since yesterday, Loner. So this is our second time playing it. Hi, Tesoro. I better not have been you. No, it's from Gary. Just... Damn it, dude. Really? I mean, thank you. And Lord knows that it needs to happen. Like, I'm having issues with this. I'm allowed to complain. Early morning stream? No, this is our normal start time. In fact, I'm 10 minutes late because I was looking into new desk options and trying to get ready to work. Anyways, thank you, Gary, very, very much. That is absolutely very much appreciated, especially since that's probably what I'm going to have to do. Like, this is just... I don't know if you can hear it. That's my legs just slamming up into the keyboard tray there because this is completely untenable. I'm going to make it work for now because I don't have another choice, but yikes. Anyways, good morning to Zara, more Cowbell, Libertas, Overlord, Platy, Death Eagle, Baron. What's up, guys? How are things? Did the game just crash? I was alt-tabbed. Checking the donation, and the game crashed. Oh my god. You know what my favorite thing is? Every single time I load the game, 100% of the time, it tries to load in full screen for a second. Even though I obviously have it set for windowed, and in fact have had it set up for windowed this entire time. But each time it's like full screen, and then it's like something is like, oh wait, hang on, I should be in windowed, shouldn't I? Like it's acting like the game loads before it checks its own ini, its own initialization file. I don't know if that's true or not, but considering the piss poor, pathetic coding we've seen so far, that wouldn't surprise me. Oh my god. Whatever, let's see if we can get through a few seconds without crashing. Why would I ever tell you that, Death Eagle? Why would I ever give out that kind of information online? No. No, I want you, and I know what you're thinking. Why wouldn't you do that? I want you to look up how many people out there, how many streamers and YouTubers have random people show up at their door at all times. How many people have a situation where someone will try to, I don't know, to swat them, or to creep on them, or to show up expecting a place to stay, or shoot at them. That happened. In fact, that's happened more than once. Yet no. Yes, it's called doxing. Giving out personal info. So, no.
My savior, and the reason scars aren't feasting on my liver right this minute. Bloody scars. The spike in their activity has really thrown off my research.
What are you working on exactly?
I'm looking for a lost Arcanist text known as the Elysian Manuscript. It was inscribed by early members of our order and has been lost for generations. Some Arcanists believe that their writings could help us predict the behavior of Shaper instruments. Imagine knowing if a relic will create firestorms, or scorpions, or shatter you into 1,000 pieces.
We could keep people safe.
Indeed. Every little piece of knowledge we can scrape together helps.
You're making progress?
The heroic work done by my assistants, may they continue to seek answers beyond this life, led to a discovery. Turns out there was a far more ingenious way to pass knowledge along. Invisible runes.
Invisible?
Runes, yes.
How do I...
Aha! I piqued your curiosity. You'll just have to continue on this adventure to find out, won't you? Our research has revealed a potential site that may answer our questions.
Just point me in the right direction.
Sure.
Heard Tassin.
Seriously, though, you want to know my name? My name is Lore. And if that sounds like a joke, actually, literally think of myself as Lore many times in real life. In fact, I have said several times in real life, you know, oh, damn it, Lore. Because I'm so used to calling myself Lore at this point in my life.
Patching in Arcanist Matthias.
So how did you learn about where we're headed?
From very old field notes. There was something the writer wasn't saying. Something important they didn't write down. I'm certain of it.
So you had a hunch.
A hypothesis.
Right.
What secrets must they hold?
Let's find out.
Are we done? Can I say thank you? Thank you, Battle Programmer. Thank you very, very much. As ever and as always, much appreciate those subs and your support. Thank you, sir. Now, as I always ask, the person who gifts can decide who decides where those subs go towards. So let me know what your decision is, Battle Programmer. And thank you again very, very much. In fact, very, 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 very much. This sounds safe. Oh, I have no control. Of course I have no control. So everyone who was just gifted a sub, you may decide what that goes towards. If it is your... If there's anything in the future that you're interested in, basically. I was going to say something. Oh yeah, so I've actually decided to give out a positive to the gameplay. Not just...
Oh dear. The canopy's quite dense here.
What am I looking for?
A marker of some type. Something other Arcanists recognize.
I mean, if the viewers really wanted me to play Fortnite, and enough people put money towards it, and enough people, you know, showed interest in it, then I'd play Fortnite. That's what I was going to comment earlier. I've had like 5 people ask, why are you playing this game? Lore, why have you decided to play this game? I don't know if you guys really realize this. I don't decide what I stream or ruminate on at all. You guys do. Now, I decide the limits of what I will stream. You know, I will say this is allowed or this is not allowed. But that's it. You guys decide what I stream. So, in answer to the question, why am I playing this game? You guys are why I'm playing this game. Because this was requested by... hang on, let's see how many people have requested me to do this one. Let me pull up the spreadsheet really quick here. Let's see. So this is going to be... This is way on here. There we go. 5, 10, 15, 20... 24 people. 24 separate, individual, unique viewers all put money towards this happening. And amongst them... I feel like I'm about to be attacked. And together they put quite a bit of money towards it. Now, Senor Pistol Bro says I should put it towards Sekiro. No. And I know what you're thinking. What? Why? We've already done Sekiro. We've actually already played all the way through it and beaten it, and hell, those videos have even gone live at this point. So... Oh, right. Forgot that I changed abilities. I mean, I'm sure Fortnite's an acceptable game. I don't know if that's true or not. I hate what it's doing to the industries. Yes, plural. I hate that there are people who make 7 digits of money playing it. That actually bothers me on a personal level.
Vile creatures. Alright. Let's find that marker.
But I don't know about the game itself. I've never played the game, so I can't actually comment on the game.
There. Yes. Unusual design.
Hi, Qualitas.
I've seen this before. It won't trigger whether the right stimulus.
Which is what?
A shift in energy. We create a big enough change, the wires detect it, the marker triggers.
Like a fire alarm?
Exactly. That shape or object across from the marker is made for echoes.
Got it. Let's build a fire.
I don't know, Senior Pistol Bro. The only thing I have a list of is games that people have already put money towards, which is actually on my website. Guess we'll do this. Wait, really? Is it just... There's one.
It's working, but the marker won't trigger with a larger shift in energy. More echoes needed.
Why would you start with it? Sorry, I just got to share this, Gary, if you're still there. I just got a news bit from Formula 1. Looks like Spain right now. And the thing is like, and here's the spoiler right in the announcement. It's like, I haven't even... Whatever. Yeah, what Gary is also saying in chat, that is to say, what Parseska is saying in chat... Sorry, I shouldn't do that. What Parseska is saying in chat is also relevant. So, I'm what I call a variety streamer. I guess other people call me that, too. In other words, I don't stream one thing, or even one type of thing. I just stream, you know, whatever's requested. As I kind of indicated earlier, you know, like I said, I don't actually decide what I stream. So, I don't really stick with one type of game. Like, I'm not going to stream Fortnite for the next 50 minutes, or days, or 50 months. Sorry, I meant to say minutes. Months. Oh my god. I don't stream one thing for a long period of time, in other words. I'm not someone who's just going to keep streaming Hearthstone, or PUBG, or League of Legends. And again, I'm not trying to insult any of those games, or the people who stream them. It's just, that is it's a completely different approach to streaming than what I do. Except FF6. I have not played FF6, as of this moment, in over a year. And if that doesn't sound unusual, well, it's the first time that's been true for a long time. I've actually mentioned before, I've almost run out of excuses to stream FF6. I have one more planned stream for FF6. Although,
Looks like we'll need more.
it's kind of a low priority thing. So, not happening anytime soon. I have played all 3 Dissidia games, yes, Death Eagle.
Another echo should be close.
Of course I need an excuse to stream FF6. This is my job. Yeah, Dissidia 1 was fun. Dissidia Duodecim was awesome. It's among my favorite FF games,
What
legitimately.
do you think will happen when we trigger the marker?
I can't say for sure. My theory, however, is we learn something about the hidden runes.
Dissidia NT can go to hell. I actively dislike Dissidia NT. To a degree that it's hard to properly explain if you didn't watch the stream about it.
We've got some
Physics! Physics! Holy crap!
Special sensitivity to certain kinds of energy has to be related to the insect physiology. I wonder if...
kind of in the middle of something right now, Matthias.
Ah, yes, of course.
Oh. It's not gonna let me? Okay. Apparently I can't use that ability in the air. That's very strange. Yeah, go ahead, Adam Suda. I mean, we are getting semi-close to the anniversary of the show. That would be August 29th for anybody who remembers. Or doesn't remember, I suppose. For God's sakes, what? Oh god, I'm actually out of ammo.
Don't let them stand in your way.
Didn't plan on it.
There we go, now it's working. Around Arsaeska.
Let's get those echoes.
Why are they in a cage? That seems pointless.
Like a fishing lure for freelancers.
Ah, clever. I kind of respect that.
Well, the idea, Loner, is I was going to do an in-depth classic on FF6, because I technically never have.
Yes. Excellent.
I shouldn't even say technically. I have never done an in-depth classic of FF6. So... You know what I love? When they limit how many puzzle pieces you can carry at once. That's awesome. I've seen the FF6 randomizers. They're all kind of crap. I mean, they're not bad. They're just disinteresting. I prefer randomizers like Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise or the LTTP one or the Super Metroid ones. You know, ones where the actual...
Good. The energy's shifting.
The game is substantially different rather than the stats are different. You know, in fact, honestly, a stats are different randomizer is kind of the antithesis of what I want out of a randomizer. Because one of the things I enjoy most out of a randomizer in general is routing, is testing your knowledge and experience with the game. If you randomize the stats and the spells and the enemies, then your knowledge is now worthless, and all of a sudden you're just playing, you know, a slightly changed up game, you know what I mean? I haven't actually looked at Pokemon randomizers yet, of which there are many. I think we still have all the graphics cranked down.
Work without freelancer help.
Slowly, my fearsome associate. Slowly. This task alone would certainly require many uncomfortable nights in the jungle.
This book you're looking for.
The Elysian manuscript.
Right. What do you think you'll find in there?
Find? Well, Arcanists pursue the truth, but time twists truth, hides it. The manuscript is a window to a very old truth.
Yes, Sonoshi. Although, as an aside, I've come to slowly suspect something, and I keep meaning to actually try it out. I'm not really sure how to test for it, though. See, I suppose I should say it out loud. I have a theory that the graphics options are lies as much as everything else is in the video options. You remember how the resolution stuff is literally lying? Like, I proved that yesterday. I have a feeling the graphics settings are also lies. because I have yet to notice any difference between ultra and minimum. We're actually on minimum right now, consequently. So I'm starting to think that those options are quite literally lying, in the similar vein as the other stuff. Which is, honestly, at this point, that wouldn't even surprise me. The flying's fun. And actually, to answer your question, Loner, when I had ultra graphics settings on, nothing was different. The frame rate was the same and the graphics looked the same. Is this just a single-player game? Basically, no. Yeah, sure, hang on, Tazara. You know you can just ask me this stuff live. Because I'm going to interrupt the stream to answer you anyways. Guys, we're going to stop the stream because Tazara has a question. Everyone point to Tazara and say, you! And just do that thing from They Live. Or whatever that show is. Or not movie, sorry, not show. In answer to your question, 89 is what I have jotted down. So, Death Eagle. Is this just a single-player game? No. In fact, this is very much intended to be a multiplayer game. I'm just playing it single-player to test it.
Looks like the Echo attracted some slimy friends.
Ah, yes.
But if you're asking if it has PvP, I have no idea.
Make this task difficult.
They just needed Arcanists working with freelancers.
Of course.
How'd you learn about these hidden runes we're looking for?
The moment I realized the great need for secrecy in our history, it opened up new ways to look at the research I already had.
Yesterday we had 5 crashes. An orangey clear. Wait, no! It was a mercy killing, guys, don't worry. Yeah, I'd say Warframe is a fair parallel. Destiny 2 was another fair parallel. Division 2 was another fair parallel. Although Division 2 is better than this. I can tell you that right now. I know what you're thinking. Lore, how would you know? Well, I've beaten Division 2, so...
That's done it. The marker's been triggered.
The Arcanist fire alarm.
Precisely.
The Division games are actually quite fun with friends. And that's pretty much my recommendation for them. If you got a bunch of friends to play them with, and by a bunch I mean 3 or under, then go for it. I played Division 1 just with Pax. I said that's not true. I did play with Gary too. So me and Pax and Gary played through Division 1. And then me, Pax, Gary, and Eric played through Division 2. It was fun. I liked it. Good stuff. Combat's not terrible. Gunplay is disinteresting. Gun sound effects are awful. This is a light machine gun that you're listening to me play. This is a frickin' LMG, okay? On the off chance you don't know what an LMG is, it's a big frickin' gun with a big frickin' clip. Damn it, Tazara! Why? Why?
Now please activate that marker.
I think it does, Plutonia, actually, yes. Well, yeah, you put a clip into the LMG. No, you think I'm joking. Here, watch this. Watch the gun. Clip. They literally have the LMG use a clip. It's great, Disco. Okay, so... Damn it, Tizara. Let me check something really quick here. This is an LMG that we're using. The assault rifle is this. Can't you tell the difference? By how it looks and functions almost identically? I gotta be honest, I've actually... The only way I can tell the difference between the two is... That has that kind of deep drum thing. Whereas this has... Although, sadly, this thing does almost as much DPS as the other thing. And I know what you're thinking. Why is that sad, Laura? This is the starter gun, the one I started the game with. This is an LMG I got after the last mission. Yep, you're right. That will finish it off, Tizara. Well, thank you very, very much, Tizara. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. For anybody who got a pin out there, Tizara paid more than his share in order to make sure that people got their pins. So, I need a math. There, that much. So, with that, the pin fund is funded. And consequently, I don't know if you heard this the other day, Tizara, but yesterday when I took half the day off, I actually got out to the UPS store and shipped the last 4 shipments. So, all the pins are shipped that are going to be shipped, and all of them are paid for. So, y'all are awesome. Where's my chat? There we go. Now to reload my clip. What's the difference between a clip and a magazine? Honest question. I'm not a gun guy, so I'm curious what the difference is.
Let's see what the Arcanist has left for us.
Amazing.
What's happening? What are those?
Quickly now. Find all you can before they disappear. Those are runes, my capable associate. Invisible runes.
They don't look...
See ya.
Just for the moment. This energy surge won't last. Got it. Very strange energy signature.
So, runes, what are they?
Okay.
Secret writing. A technique lost and forgotten. To think the key to my work was right in front of me.
I love the fact that I've had about 3 or 4 different answers to what the difference is between a clip and a magazine in chat, by the way. I find that very amusing.
The energy is starting to fluctuate.
Does that mean hurry?
Yes.
That's all we're gonna get.
You know, we'd be a lot further in this game already if we hadn't crashed. 7 times so far. That doesn't sound like a lot. It sure feels like a lot. Yeah, me too, Blue Wolf Alex. 3 weeks of my life burnt trying to ship internationally, and I failed at it. Why don't people like this game? Well, I mean, they did announce that they're changing the roadmap and moving the road back several months back. Where's our negatives list? Just no reason. Yeah, so let's go ahead and just do that and that and that. Did it crash every hour for you, Necro? Like, I'm honestly curious. Because this is just aggravating. I'm just codifying several negatives there. Hey, we're at the rune step at least. That's an interesting question. At what point do crash to desktops deserve another negative? I've never had to answer that question before. Like, it's already a negative, I just codified it.
Very strange energy signature.
And also, as an aside, I'm happy you like this game, Necro. I really am. I've said it many times in my life. The world needs more joy in it. So, if someone out there likes something I don't like, that's awesome.
So, runes, what are they?
Secret writing. A technique lost and forgotten. To think the key to my work was right in front of me.
To my knowledge, it had the same issues on console. And that's speaking from a couple people I know personally, not just internet reports.
Got it.
I did. Oh dear, the energy is starting to fluctuate.
Does that mean hurry?
Yes.
That's all we're gonna get.
Should be enough. I have an idea how to find more of these in the future.
You think they'll help?
Yes, I'll explain when we get back before Tarsus, but first... Thank you. These runes hold the key to finding the Elysian manuscript. I'm certain.
What's really weird is they do the occasional thing right. I'm going to demonstrate something. Check this out. Like, there's this little, basically, ledge grab mechanic that shows up if you're not quite at the top of a ledge, which is good. That's actually good. Like I was pointing out earlier with the flight mechanics and the pause in height generation, which is another good thing that they did. It's so... I mean, I was talking about this yesterday, and Eric mentioned this too. It's so strange because they make a lot of really legitimately good choices gameplay-wise throughout. And then there's the rest of the problems. Like lying graphics options or constant crashes to desktop. But yeah, the core mechanics are actually quite good. The flying, someone earlier mentioned the flying looks bad. I don't agree. I think the flying is actually quite good. The flying is very intuitive and smooth. It even allows a bit of strafing, which is, in my opinion, a good move for any kind of FPS or TPS. Because and I can explain my reasoning there. Because most people who are playing a game like this are expecting to be able to strafe like this. This is all just hitting A and D, right? So being able to actually go, is a good thing while flying. Just little touches like that, God, Maze. Sorry. Pet peeve. Yes, as I talked about yesterday, I am well aware of the report on this game.
Anything for my favorite freelancer.
That's another thing. I know that loot is a big component of games like these for people. I am not one of those people. To me, the loot is just something that's there. Unless it does something legitimately cool, it's just a way to continue to endure the rest of the game. It's another form of leveling, basically. Something I put up with. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, how does loot be cool? Well, basically, at this point in my life, loot that doesn't affect stats tends to be cool for me. If I have a gun that doesn't actually do any damage at all and doesn't alter my things, but puts a puddle of goo on the ground that roots anyone who's there, that's cool. If I have an armor slot that makes it so that rather than increasing my shields or armor, I don't know, just making stuff up off the top of my head, it gives me the ability to have a dodge button, just a quick dash to the side where I get a few iframes. That's cool, right? Something that makes it so that I have more shields is boring to me, and has been for a long time. Now, granted, that's from the perspective of someone who's been gaming for decades at this point. And so I'm just kind of tired of the stat thing in general. There's ways to make stats interesting, but most games don't.
Freelancer, yes, excellent, you're here.
Matthias, need something?
Need something? Oh, no. Have something. You remember that strange energy the runes emitted?
I remember you mentioning something while I collected them.
I managed to isolate and identify the energy pattern. I passed it along to your cipher,
Who can now help me find those invisible runes?
which are the key to unlocking another impenetrable mystery.
Which means you want me to go find more of them.
Yes, the more the better. With enough, I'm certain I can find the location of the Elysian manuscript. Certain. I've several leads. It's very promising. Talk later.
You got it, Matthias.
God, our main character always sounds just kind of like, okay, whatever. It's almost funny. Anyways, do I expect ES6 to be a mobile game? No. Do I expect it to be structured like a mobile game? Yeah. In other words, while it will not literally be a mobile game, it probably will have the stylings and design concepts of a mobile game.
Ah, freelancer. What can Matthias Errol Sumner help you with today?
I just wanted to see how you were doing.
My research is progressing. I'm still alive and very happy about it. I intended to buy you a drink as thanks for the rescue, but then I remembered being banned from the bar.
You're banned. Why?
For, starting fights. Not proud of it, it just happened. 1 minute someone's mocking Von Blatt's theory of diurnal obsolescence, next minute you got bloody knuckles. You know how it is.
No, actually I don't, but thanks.
I don't actually know how it is.
Von Blatt's theory is a foundational Arcanist principle. It deserved to be defended.
With your fists.
Like I said, not proud. Growing up in the streets of Helios, you pick up some bad habits. Discourse, dialogue, civility. The Arcanist ways, those I had to learn. Lashing out is instinct.
I didn't know you grew up on the streets.
I don't advertise it.
Everyone has a past. It's what you do now that matters.
That's what I kept saying. I wanted to learn. I wanted to improve the world through knowledge. Still do. But it wasn't enough for some. They couldn't overlook my origins.
Yet you persisted.
Had to. Had to force open the doors they shut on me. Force open the door. The gateway, if the aperture could be widened and maintained. Oh, you're brilliant.
But I didn't...
Apologies. I meant me. I must pursue this train of thought. Talk later.
I can use chopsticks pretty well, but I've also had many years of practice. I had to actually learn how to use chopsticks because I didn't use them properly. And I don't remember which style I used them in. I know there's multiple styles of holding chopsticks. And I use them in one of the styles. Let me grab a pen. And another pen. Don't worry, I've all got pens on my desk. So this is how I use chopsticks. Like this. So I've got the middle finger, the kind of on that one, and I've got the index finger kind of getting this. Do you see how I'm doing this? This is how I use chopsticks. This is actually bad hand. There you go. Like this. And I forget which style of using chopsticks this is, but this is what I have learned over the years. Hi, Darth Trinius. My niece can use chopsticks now, too. We actually had her on training chopsticks roll, where there's actually a hoop, so you can put your fingers into the hoop, and that just helps grip them. Now here's the real question. How do you break your chopsticks? I'm sorry, that's an inside joke. Ignore me. Where the heck is she? Is that her? Nope, that's Cardboard Lady. Alright, what do you want to bet the quest marker is literally lying to me, guys? At this point, that wouldn't even surprise me. Okay.
No, not to worry. Whenever you're ready to trek across the jungle, I'll be ready to sit here and watch.
So the quest marker is I have to talk to freelancer What's-Her-Face. I actually mentioned her. I talked to her earlier. And it says she's over here in the bay, but I don't see her. Now, I am blind, as we've discussed many times before, but I really don't see her. Let's see, the quest marker is telling me to go back there.
Accusations.
I know you cheated at the game.
Sweetie, I don't have to cheat. You're just bad at cards.
I want my money back.
Sorry, spent it. I'd be up for another game if you wanted to win it back.
Please, I can't afford to lose that money. There's no work at the fort.
Then maybe you shouldn't be gambling.
I have a family.
Then maybe you shouldn't be gambling. Honestly, it's so hard for me to sympathize with people who run up gambling debts. I know it's a real thing. I know that there are people who have chemical issues with that. It just doesn't compute. I have so little money, I better go gambling. Okay, maybe this is it. Are you Yarrow? It doesn't even tell me. What's your name?
My new
That is Yarrow. Okay, that is Yarrow.
Welcome my story of Freemark, huh?
Never heard it told like that.
I was long retired. The battle was not mine to fight. But good friends tell me, I was a freelancer for many years. You know what freelancers do?
We deal with things beyond the wall. Problems. We help people.
Truth, but it's not so small as that. We explore, we fight chaos, we save lives. You hear me?
Okay, I hear you.
People could count on us. In this world, a big deal. But that has been lost. People don't trust us. Hard times now. But enough gloom. Got a contract for you. Going to protect some Arcanists doing seismic tests, okay?
Seismic tests.
Yeah, check to see if Fort Tarsis has strong foundation. Don't want it to fall into a hole like last time.
What?
But these tests attract animals. The kind with teeth, you know? You protect one side of the fort, and Freelancer Wraith will protect the other. You hear me?
I hear you.
Good. Now go. I'm hungry. No breakfast yet.
Hello, Nothrazim.
Waiting on a few reports just now.
I love it. Every single time I launch a mission. Are you sure you want to be solo only? Are you sure? Do you want to go out there and meet random strangers while playing this game? You know, if you don't want to meet random strangers while playing this game, you can always invite your friends. Just ask your friends to play with you. Get them to go buy the game. It's only $60. That's not a lot of money. Although if you want the DLC and the season pass, you might have to spend a little bit more. And also, we've got a shop where you can really showcase all like some really cool stuff.
Patching in Freelancer Yarrow.
Yarrow here. Let's see if we can keep some Arcanists alive, yes? Freelancer Wraith has begun her patrol.
This is Wraith. Like the man says, I'm on my way.
Let's see what we can do, Wraith.
Which one, Micromono?
Here's the Freelancer. Hey, over here!
Are you sure about this? I mean,
Let's just get it done. Seismic indicator is ready to go, okay?
Start it up. Hate this part. Always makes me nervous.
Remember,
Defend the spot.
don't know why. Make sure the Arcanists stay healthy, you understand?
Got it. I'll keep an eye out.
Gotta defend the spot. Gotta defend the spot. Do 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 do. Gotta defend the spot. It's okay, there's no friendly fire. They're fine with the massive ice ball I just dropped on their faces. Gotta defend the spot. Woo! This is what I live for, defending spots.
Maybe they should do tests that don't make animals angry.
Science, what can you do?
Not make animals angry, I guess. Listen, this spot is super glowy. I'm sorry. It's actually, so if we're going to be honest about this for a second.
That's it. Tests are done.
They got through okay, Yarrow.
Good, go to the next group. I will make sure these Arcanists get back safe.
Freelancer Wraith here. First group has finished up. No angry animals.
Lucky her.
Maybe. Strange.
Headed to next location.
So, let's go ahead and talk reality for a second. There aren't that many mission types, really. We've talked about this before, and we'll talk about it again. The X of Y problem is real. Not just because, well, not just because of... Okay, hang on, let's rewind a second. Because there's actually something legitimate to talk about gameplay design-wise here. Number one, anytime you want your game to have any kind of meat to it, in other words, to have a decent amount of length to it, you're going to have to accept that at some point or another, not all your missions are going to click, right? Not every mission can be fantastic. However, I have no idea FPS. I can check. I don't think it matters, though, because the graphics options don't seem to change anything. RTX. I'm guessing it's off, because I don't see anything about that, so... I'm gonna move real quick here. Anyways, so if you're going to have to accept at some point or other that some of your missions just aren't going to be amazing, right? The other problem is that no matter what you do to a mission type, in some way or another, it will still break down to the basic X of Y concept. There's only so many things you can do with a game engine. You know, there is a finite amount of creativity that can exist, right? So in general, I understand why some designers struggle with the X of Y quest design. Now, that being stated, with a level of understanding, it's worth noting that so far this game's missions are really, really boring. These games, mostly because of the fact that each mission is not just the same mission type, but it's the same mission type without anything varying it or altering it in any substantial way. I mean, when we have to hold the line, when we have to protect a spot, it's literally the exact same graphic on the exact same type of spot, and you have to stand in the area and hold it, and if an enemy gets in it, it prevents it, and you have to shoot off enemies who spawn at you from all directions, and every single one of those is identical in overall presentation and type. The only thing that is varied is the enemies, and that's it. You know what I mean? In other words, let me put it to you this way. World of Warcraft, I hate to use this example, but hear me out. World of Warcraft, in Cataclysm and onwards, but most especially Cataclysm, Pandaria, and Legion, decided to try and vary up the quest design to try and make it so that it was more interesting to quest. They did this in BFA too. I should give credit where credit is due, sorry. Because BFA quests are actually pretty decent in some zones. So they made it so that you would have to go do an interaction with a type of enemy, or maybe you had to use the specific item on a type of enemy, or maybe you had to hop on a vehicle and just have a cool section or whatever. But if you break all of those down, they're still X of Ys, right? It's just they tried to vary it up a little bit to make the quests more interesting. By contrast, WoW Vanilla, and yeah, I'm going to bash WoW Vanilla here, so give me a second. WoW Vanilla had X of Y. It literally would have a quest to go kill 12 boars, go kill 10 kobolds, and go kill 10 wolves in Elven Forest, right? Just go. Do those things. And that's the problem I'm having with the quest design so far in this game, is because it's WoW Vanilla, not WoW Pandaria.
Found the second site. Not seeing any Arcanists.
Yes, I see. Okay, let's do a search for energy signatures in the area.
I saw it, Nerdman. I saw your comment. So this is the second type of quest. Search for a thing. You can see the green thing at the top. We actually already did those last game. No, Ventures. I have absolutely zero interest in playing it. I would also go so far as to say I have a negative interest in playing it.
It's scars.
I'm sorry, what? You see that? I'm hitting the trunk of the tree that I'm standing on because its hitbox extends above me. Okay, anyways. Now, someone earlier mentioned something. I don't drink. This sword's too heavy, but thank you for the concept. One of the things that I've always liked is... I'm saying that wrong. One of the things I try to do...
Understood.
Don't try to smash the shield of this enemy you fought 7 times before now. Mandatory, I feel like pointing out. Anyways. So, I never like to criticize without critiquing. You know, I like to give my own suggestions on how things could be improved. Now, I mentioned before that the gunplay is kind of boring. Now, I should explain some of the specifics of that. So, first of all, gunplay is obviously kind of a done thing. You know, we've had games with guns in them before. Whoops, wrong button. Really? Okay. So, it's kind of hard to make gunplay interesting in general. Now, in my opinion, there are several ways you can make gunplay interesting. Way number 1, make guns cool. This is what Doom did. Doom 4. Now, Doom 4 was not a perfect example of this, but in my opinion, a lot of the guns in Doom 4 were legitimately cool, and that helped to, you know, make it fun and interesting. Just a second. Thing 2 you can do is to make it so that the guns have substantial variety. Different attack rates, different clip sizes, different zoom styles, different sounds to them, you know, blah, 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 blah. There's plenty of ways to vary up a gun, so that one assault rifle is not equal to another assault rifle, right? Obviously, this game doesn't do that either, as we've already mentioned.
No Arcanists in here. Where are they?
No bodies. Good. Scars must have taken them.
Why take Arcanists?
Maybe because they know much about Shaper things? Valuable to Scars.
Can we track them?
Yes, go. Scars scavenge everything, yeah? So I look for the energy signature of Arcanist tools.
There are other ways, but my point is you can make gunplay interesting. But
Still getting that signal?
this isn't. Now, that being stated, obviously, I've already kind of given my opinion here. And again, someone in chat also mentioned this already. I just don't remember who, please forgive me. But the idea is, why not just get rid of the guns? Because here's how the game is designed. And I'll go ahead and just break this down for you, okay? So first of all, there's green glowy things. No, okay, so this is white damage, and this is yellow damage. Now, I'm stopping there because that is it, and that is, in my opinion, the problem. This game is a little bit too basic. That is the default MMO gameplay design style. You have your auto attack. Whoop. Okay. Return to your team? What? Anyways, you have your auto attack, which is your white damage, and you have your abilities, which is your yellow damage. The abilities are on cooldowns or have a resource. In this case, it's cooldown based. Why not get rid of the guns entirely? Or make it so that certain classes can't use guns, and adjust the actual abilities and actual cooldowns of the abilities to make it so that you just use the abilities. Make it so that all of your gameplay is sitting on the yellow damage side of the equation. Now, I know I've talked about getting rid of white damage in the past, but, to continue my thought, why not make it so that there are actually interesting gun types, and those interesting gun types can only be used by certain javelins? Now, I know that there are certain things that are only usable by certain javelins, but I mean, like, I can use an LMG on a mage. Why not make it so I can't? Why not make it so that the LMG, which is this awesome gun of awesome and does etc., to make it interesting, is something that only the Colossus or whatever can use? You know, to kind of go back to the idea of you need power armor to wield a chain gun, to use a Fallout example, right? And then make the LMG actually worth a damn in order to actually make it fun, right? I mean, you get where I'm going with this. Now, I admittedly don't care about the guns or white damage, so I'd be okay with ejecting them entirely. But again, why not just make it so the guns are more stylized, specific, categorized, and only usable by certain classes, right? So the mage that I'm playing being entirely focused on ability play would make a degree of sense to me. Instead of, you know...
A camp, you see?
Yes, it's gonna be a fight.
Oh, look at them all. I don't like this.
I don't either.
A turret. And look at their numbers.
Yes, I'm getting acquainted with both.
Hello? There we go.
munitions around here. Take care of them.
Depends, Colgrim. Although, personally, I like a combination of systems nowadays. So, there's generally, I'm sure there's exceptions I just can't think of right now, but there's generally 3 types of ability-use systems. There's mana systems, there's generate spenders, and then there's cooldowns. Now, what we have here is just straight cooldowns. I'm actually in favor of a cooldown system, and for some reason people don't seem to like cooldown systems. I'm not actually sure why. So we've got... so cooldowns is very obvious. I don't need to explain that. Generator spenders, if you've played just about any Blizzard game, you've probably seen that. You do such and such to generate abilities, and then you do such and such separate thing to use the abilities. Make sense? Generate, spend. And yeah, I personally would say that ammo qualifies as a mana system. But that's just me. I will say, however, that ammo is obviously a little bit distinct from a mana system, depending on how it's executed, but regardless, the point remains. Because I've seen mana systems in games that basically are ammo. That and what I mean by that is you can't regenerate it, and you can't... There's no abilities that make it happen. You have to go and procure it, right? So... ammo. I've also seen some games absolutely abuse the ammo system and make it absolutely terrible. Looking at you, Sticker Star. Anyways, my point being, I like... So to finish answering that question, I like a combination of all 3 abilities. To use what I consider to be my example, Diablo 3. Diablo 3 uses all 3 types of generate, spend, or all 3 types of ability usage in its playstyle. It just depends on the class you're using. And of course, there's a decent amount of variety, both with regards to legendaries and set pieces, as well as the actual talent usage, in order to try and determine how exactly you generate or spend those abilities. And as Dakoita points out, that's not like, not every character has every different system, but the wizard and the witch doctor have mana systems, regenerating mana systems. The monk and the demon hunter use generate spenders. Oh, the barbarian also uses a generate spender. And you can set up some of the classes to be fully cooldown based. In fact, the way I actually have my wizard set up is basically full cooldown based. I barely use mana at all in that class. But anyways, point being, that's the answer to your question. I like a combination system. I'm fine with cooldown-based mechanics. I really am. I think cooldown-based mechanics offer for a decent amount of variety to tactics, as long as they're at least reasonably well designed. He just clipped through the... Easy, console hot. Because I got tired of dying. And it's an option. So that's nice. Hi, Zeiss. He's dead.
That thing is down. No more junk maw.
Take that, junk maw. Let's see about those arcanists.
There you go. You're okay. I can't thank you enough.
You can walk back, right?
Arcanists are safe. Only cuts and bruises. Told the sentinels to pick them up.
Already done. Good. Nothing more to do here. Check on Freelancer right.
Got it.
Right. You see any scars in your area? Freelancer right. You, get over there. You hear me?
I hear you.
I have a name, you know. It's lore. Jeez, that's soon. Not sooner than I have any time for that. God, I probably won't even be done with the high priority streams by then. You know, I've been debating what I think of the graphics of this game. Like, every now and again, it's like, oh, that's pretty. Like, look at that real quick. That's kind of pretty, right? Yeah, it's nice. But I've been trying to debate why I don't like the graphics of this game. Because I don't.
Can't locate it. It's the best.
And there's no right. No archivists.
Only scars.
Glad. Right, where are you?
My knee-jerk thought, and this is just me trying to process this, is it's too busy. Like, there's a lot going on at any given moment. It's actually a little bit hard for me with my color distinction issues to actually keep track of what I'm doing. Thankfully, there is actually some color coding amongst enemies, items, and interactables, so that's nice.
Scars never get this close to Fort Tarsis.
They aren't getting around.
Like, I gotta be honest, I'm probably missing stuff simply because I'm basically looking for, you know, color cues rather than anything else. What am I looking at? I don't even know what this is. Oh, that's an ultimate thing. Ah, sure. And just for good... Oh, damn it.
Yeah, there's no sign of the Arcanist or Wraith.
Like, look at how much stuff is going on the screen right now, just for example. Also, I'm not really super impressed with the rain effects, if I'm being honest. But, whatever. Oh, this is a find stuff mission.
Scarred bodies. Away from the campsite.
Anything else?
Bullet holes.
Nothing gets past me.
Wraith.
Hi, SJ.
Sounds like a war.
You want that? Come and get it, you fuck.
For the moment, yes, Dakota. When I hit level 9, I think, I get another frame. To try out something else. Which I do plan to do, consequently.
You're late to the party.
Wraith.
Really? He does not want to be frozen, does he? Alright, I'll be over here, regenerating. Not really his deviance? No one's even suggested it for a run, so... And we have 1,000 billion other things to stream. Okay.
Well, everybody's a little banged up, but alive. Nothing got past Rife. She'll be okay.
Damn right.
Oh, good. Very good, my friend. Sentinels are on their way.
Celebratory laughter.
Was cramping up.
Not off the top of my head, no, Disco. Although I do roll my eyes at some of the sexy that's been put in games in the past. Loading. What's funny is everything I understand is that this loading issue is better than it used to be. Because now we only have to load the Expedition Complete thing to load the area. And I believe there was more like 4 or 5 load times in between each thing earlier. That's going off of what I've been told. Obviously, I don't know. Oh, hey, we got our first green items. That's one thing I don't mind. Everyone using the WoW system of coloration. In fact, I actually encourage more people to use that because it's just kind of become a standard now, so it's a good visual shorthand. Gray, white, green, blue, purple, orange. Don't even have to think about it.
Hey there, it's me.
Owen?
We need to chat. It's important. Meet me in the bar.
Okay, I'll be there. Owen? Huh.
Now, if you're paying attention, what's funny is a lot of games use the same lower system and then mix it up for the higher. So, you know, you've got white, green, blue is extremely common. After that, most games kind of vary it up. What am I doing? I guess I'm going over here because I can't just do it from a menu.
Let's see what I can do.
Now we have a green. Oh, a shotgun. Which is worse in every way than... Hang on. So my sledgehammer, my LMG, which is level 4, has better damage, rate of fire, ammo per magazine, and optimal range than a shotgun, which is also not only a power level 9, but green. Am I missing something there? I mean, I've heard of this flaw too, but I thought this was fixed. Like, I swore I read something about them patching this out. Obviously, I'm wrong. Whatever. Whatever. Again, let's go look at our other loot. Oh, we got greens. That means they're going to be better. Actually, we'll go ahead and equip that. Yes, I have, actually, Disco. Back when it came out.
Man, with something like that, you can really soak it.
Looks like this is your lucky day.
Why's that?
You just bumped into the oldest man in Fort Tarsis. Name's Jarek.
Nice to meet you.
You too. You know, you don't live as long as I have without seeing some things.
Yeah? Like what?
I was there when the scars swarmed the fort's terraces. It was a bloodbath. Happened over 50 years ago, and it feels like yesterday. I was also there when the scars came over the walls. What do you think about that?
I think you've seen a lot.
You bet I have. More than you ever will, that's for sure.
I hope you're right.
Oh, I am, Freelancer. I've lived a life filled with bloodshed and disaster. I've survived Strider ambushes, Dominion attacks and outlaws. I've even run from wyverns. I've seen enough death to last 50 lifetimes. And yet, somehow, I'm still kicking.
Renegade interrupt.
It ain't no secret. I'm a pragmatist. I always did what I had to in order to survive.
I'm sorry. You must have lost many people along the way.
You got that right. I've outlived every friend I ever had. Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choices. I was in a mining crew digging for ore near Heliost when the main shaft collapsed. We were trapped behind a solid wall of rock. We had no idea of how long it would take for the rescue party to dig us out. I was lucky enough to find a bottle of water. But there were 6 of us.
1 bottle of water for 6 miners? How many of you made it out?
I was the only survivor.
Huh. I'm gonna be an idiot and ask why only you?
Why were you the only survivor?
If I'd have shared that water, nobody would have lived.
So you chose to let 5 people die to save yourself?
I told you, I'm a pragmatist.
I guess that's why you're the oldest man in Fort Tarsus.
Don't you judge me. You've seen death. You've done things. I could see it in your eyes. It's usually a glint of sadness or knowledge, but in some people, that glint turns into a gleam. And a gleam means they want to see more death. Be careful, Freelancer. I still see a glint in your eyes.
And then I shoot him. Okay. So have they actually developed a backstory for this game? I know that sounds like a strange question, but I know that there was originally a backstory to this game, which actually made a lot of sense and seemed kind of cool. It also could have easily fit into the Mass Effect setting. But then they had to completely change the ideas and concepts on them, and I don't actually know if there's an explanation for example, where we are, or why we're here, or how long we've been here. Are we from Earth? Is this the home planet of humans in this setting? Did we ever have Hunkadonk Bunkadonk? I mean, come on, guys. These are questions that need answers.
Hey, where's my drink?
Are you... Really, dude?
What's up?
What are you talking about? You called me, mate.
No, you...
Oh, hold on a second.
The Monitor is leading a mission back into the heart of Rage. He wants to weaponize the Cenotaph. We decrypted the archive you recovered from the Regulator camp earlier, and we know why he's after you.
You know, you could just ask me. You don't have to pull this thing every time.
Did you know the Monitor was there when the Dominion attacked Freemark? One of the few who escaped when the Cenotaph leveled the city.
Oh, shit.
He's ruthless, driven, and savage. An incredibly powerful cipher and a brilliant pilot. He frightens even his own people.
He's a vampire.
No one survives the Heart of Rage.
You did. The intel also reveals that he's perfected a way to harness the power of the Cenotaph, and we cannot let that happen.
Obviously.
I need you to find a way through the Heart of Rage. Get to the Cenotaph first and silence it. Do what freelancers do.
Do what freelancers do. You're talking about a bloody cataclysm.
He's right. We aren't equipped to take that on.
Of course. Well, I can think of others who survived the Heart of Rage that day, who never let it go, studied it.
Ugh, come on.
I feel like I'm supposed to know this one.
My old partners, Alec and Faye.
Intel says the Monitor is on their trail. Suggests Faye has found something important. Last known location.
Oh, I can...
You know, I've been looking at those mechs for some time, the javelins. Those things look astonishingly uncomfortable to be in.
Intel says your partnership ended badly.
I don't know, we just kind of grew apart.
Really? Because I heard that Halleck never forgave you for pulling him out of that storm, and Faye went...
Where are we going?
Oh, right. Oh, you're kidding me. No, Halleck and Faye are working with Princess Zim.
The regulator boss?
Oh, please, she's a smuggler at best. She's a full-fledged crime lord at worst. We really need them.
To get through the Heart of Rage and beat the Monitor to the Cenotaph? Yeah, we need him.
Do we?
Why?
You and I? We're such a solid team already.
Of course. That's why Tassin picked us. You got my back, I got yours.
Like, if you look at the armor, like, I want you to picture, like you're standing up, right? And so your legs are kind of at a weird angle forward instead of straight down, like they're supposed to be, like you're sitting almost. And then your ankles are either tilted way up or way down. I'm not sure which. They aren't really clear on that. And you're basically walking on stilts, which are going out from your feet in the direction of your feet. Like, that's where the rest of the leg comes down. It goes like this. That just sounds astonishingly uncomfortable. High heels? No, this would be more like if the high heels were coming out of your toes. And also your legs were bent the whole time. So basically, no, not high heels at all. Like, look at those. I've been looking at those this whole game, just like, God, those look terrible. Well, again, no, because the only way for this to work is if they're coming out of, again, straight out. So, like, if this is your foot, this is where the rest of the leg is. Or this is where the rest of the leg is. I'm not sure which it is, but I know what you're thinking. Well, this makes more sense. Okay, now I want you to go ahead in your chair right now. I want you to kind of lean forward so your legs, your upper legs are going out at kind of an angle. And so then your lower legs are coming in at an angle. And then your feet, I want you to bend your ankles so your feet are as far up as possible. Then I want you to just pretend like you're walking around like this the whole time. Just doing this. Go ahead, I'll wait. Like, even just thinking about that right here. Like, now I'm actually no longer sitting. And just, this is amazingly awkward to maneuver. Yes. Now I know what you're thinking, Laura, why are you paying attention to this one point so much? Because power armor makes a degree of sense. But power armor, by its very nature and design, augments your existing body structure. It doesn't alter it. It doesn't change it. It improves it. It magnifies what's already there. So, for example, to use a direct example, in Fallout, when you get to power armor, it's got a leg that goes down, and then a boot that's just under your foot. So you're just walking normally, and then the power armor actually augments your strength. Shazam! Right? This is not a complex concept. So hopefully there was no good dialogue at the end of that, because I'm not doing that again. I guess we're just launching now. Actually, yeah, hang on a second. Let's see if we can find an armor. Where are we? Where are we? And I know what you're thinking. Well, maybe they just do that for the combat situations. Well, A, you kind of want to be at your best in combat, not your worst. But B, and arguably more importantly, that doesn't explain the people who just walk around in their javelins normally, which several people have actually been doing. Let's see, any mechs here? Or whatever they call them, javelins. I did a little looking online for possibilities for fixing the CTD issue. Yes, Gary, it literally is. It's bad. Oh, it's bad. The best response I got was, I'll just play it on console. Although, that doesn't fix it, it just apparently lowers the number of CTDs. Because it will still CTD on console. Which is basically just kind of a hard lock in that case. Oh my god. That's what I was doing, by the way, Baron, if that wasn't obvious. I was just looking for a mech to look at closely. And then the game crashed. This rate, I'm going to have to get some real alcohol. I'm sure my sister has some. The lore finally gets drunk on camera stream. There you go. Okay, so where, Brave? You said there was one... Hang on, let's scroll up chat a little bit here. Apparently there was one I walked past before going down. Ah! Behold. Behold! Anyways, upstairs. That's one person's in. Although, you see what I mean about the foot? In fact, actually, now that I'm looking at that, that makes less sense than I already thought it did. Because look at this. Okay, so there's the body, right? And then there's the hips. And then there's the front, the upper leg. And then there's the lower leg. Did they chop off half their lower leg? Seriously. Look at that leg and tell me how that works with human physiology. Because his lower leg is like this compared to his upper leg, which is like this. Like either his shins have quite literally been smashed and cracked so that that's actually his foot down there, or else the lower half of his shins have been chopped off. Look at that. I was being generous to these stupid things. And that's ignoring the fact that this is still stupid. Because this means, even assuming that this was the right length, you see what I mean about the problem of how he has to stand. You see, like, let's assume for a moment. Let's mentally Photoshop this to elongate this. That just means that, again, he's basically standing on his tippy toes at all time, with his toes going down, like so, because he's got his shin, and then his feet are going this way, down in the direction that the actual bottom of the leg is. So, again, from a purely engineering design perspective, why? I mean, I like the chicken walkers as much as anyone else. In fact, all of my favorite mechs from Battletech are chicken walkers, but... Damn it, Gary. Like, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's really do this. Because let's do some math. Give me a second here. We're going to pull out a screenshot of this guy. We're going to save it. And then we're going to open up Corral. Hang on. And the game's going to crash while I'm doing this. What do you want to bet? What do you want to bet? Okay. So we got Corel open, so let's go ahead and pop this in. There we go. Okay, so we're going to do some measurements, basically. Now, I have no units for these measurements, but all that matters is the measurements of length versus other length. Make sense? So all I need to do is determine how long this is versus how long this is. Now, if we're going to go as absolutely fairly as possible here, this object, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but this, so from like the very tip of the knee to all the way up to what is clearly the waist area is about this long, whereas from the tip of the knee all the way down to the base there is this long. So if we rotate this here, you can see how long these are in comparison to each other. There we go. All right, apply. There we go. Okay, so that means I was just yeah, his arms are really short too. His arms are like coming down to his waist, which I don't know about you guys. My arms go down. Like, granted, I have a weird proportions, but my arms go down below the chair. Like if I just have my arms hanging at the side here, they're below the chair I'm sitting on. Anyways, so let's assume that the length of waist to knee is a unit of 1. So if we do that, that would make this. So so that would make the amount of space that he has for his shin and ankle to be in there 0.53 of 1, okay? So for that to be true, here, I don't want to show off how fat I am, but I really got to make this clear. So for that to be true, I don't think you can actually see my waist. So this length here, so that would mean my shins and my foot would have to be approximately this long. Now, for perspective, my shins and my foot are actually, can't get them all on camera, this long. So either the people in these things have weirdly, freakishly deformed bodies, or they literally chopped off part of their bodies. Hey, excuse me. How do you feel about the fact... Why are you so much taller than me, too? I mean, I get it. You're supposed to be on stilts, but seriously? So how do you feel about the fact that they chopped off your legs? Actually, wait, hang on. It was very good, Kay. It was fantastic. See, that at least looks like that might be possible. Barely. God, how do you squeeze into that? Because remember, you got to get in, like, the opening terminates at the waist. So you have to get your entire body into that cavity right there. Including the head. And the arms. That looks astonishingly uncomfortable. And then hang on. So you have to get your leg through there. And then through there. And then down. I don't know what that is, Kay. I'm sorry. I'm done. The javelins are stupid. Moving on. Are you sure you want to go solo? God, I think you're right, Dakota. Yeah, we need to see a Colossus. We need to... As soon as we are able to switch mechs, I'm going to try out a Colossus, and then we'll see how the hell that looks. Watch, I bet if I pointed this out to one of the art designers, they'd say, oh no, it's simple. They just smear Ezo all over themselves and squeeze in.
Like I said, you won't get to see Princess Zim without bringing gifts. Now, I've marked locations where we'll find something that should work. Tribute for a princess, huh? It'll give me time to meet you there. Wait, what? You think I missed the reunion with your mates? I hitched a ride on a smuggler strider. Owen. It'll be fine. Wait, one of them's coming. Back in a sec.
Stop. Hold up. Doesn't he need to, like, hook into a giant chair to be the Cypher? You remember that, right? Like, we've actually seen the chairs they get in to interact with them as Cyphers. So is he in...
I'm borrowing this Strider's amplifier, crammed in with smuggled rabbits.
It's not safe out here.
Safe gets boring. Time for a freelancer adventure. You'll see.
So, there's two possibilities here. Either he has decided to hop into a Cypher thing, which happens to be on this smuggler skiff, which happens to be able to have the transmitting power necessary to connect with us, or he's just on a phone and can't see or interact with anything around us, even though he's already giving us mission directions. Which also has the ability to just connect with us. Let's just ignore that one, too. Omnigel. I mean, if Omnigel let me lose weight like that, I might go for it. Just... There we go. We're good. Anyways, Kay, yes, I am actually aware of that. I have not watched it, though. Haven't had time.
Some scars in the area stole weapons from Princess Sim. Putting them back for her could be a good icebreaker. They're gonna put up a fight, though.
Hi, Coffee Powered.
Scars don't know what to do with guns. They're just a bunch of grunts.
Well, they've got pretty good aim.
That is true. They really do. It's kind of strange, actually.
Well, we stir things up now.
So here's an honest question, and I mean this with total sincerity. Are you surprised by how this game has been going so far? Okay, I got that question on Tumblr, too. I am legitimately surprised by how bad this has been going. Because this is bad. This is really, really bad.
Now take a look around for a weapons cache.
I don't have any faith in EA. But I did play Andromeda. Someone asked if is this game, Anthem, aggressively average. No, this game is bad. Okay.
Okay, we got the weapons. Good, but it's not enough. Regulators aren't easily impressed. I've marked the next location.
What are we getting here?
Relics. The Scars took a few from Zim's merry band of smugglers. Of course, they probably stole them first, but it will score points with Zim if we get them back. Well, after you take care of the walking bugs. Taking slipping turns. I think we're following an old smuggler's shortcut. relics?
Because they are Baron? I don't even understand that question. You just asked me why FF6 is good and why I don't know. Why Quest 64 is bad. Because they are. I actually know one person personally who really enjoyed Andromeda His Deviants. Pax.
We've got the relics. Almost have enough. Need one last bit of tribute for the princess. Location marked.
I mean, I'm only so far into it, Kira, but yeah, no, I think I could easily clarify this game as bad. Like, there are actual issues here. Core concepts are cool. I stand by that. I mean, if you really want me to compare Andromeda versus this, I can. It's just, you're asking me to compare two very different games from each other, really. So let's look at this, shall we? So, Andromeda has...
Easy next fight. Why? Princess Zim loves to throw a good party. I hear grilled Ursix is her favorite dish.
I'm sorry, real quick, I just feel like pointing out that he just demonstrated that he can see what we're doing, despite being on a smuggler ship. Little details like that are why this game is bad. Andromeda usually had some weird and, in fact, cliched story points, but it usually avoided literally not making sense. So, that's problem number one. Andromeda's overall combat approach was more focused on trying to use a combination of abilities, most of which were borrowed from the Mass Effect series, in conjunction with each other, as well as your jetpack, which I don't actually have the equivalent of right now, and your party members, and your tank, okay? So, in other words, the core combat was actually completely different from this. As much as there are similarities, the overall presentation and style was a completely different thing. It's like comparing Final Fantasy X-2 to Final Fantasy VI. Well, you could argue they have the same combat. You would be wrong. They have very different presentations of a similar concept, but otherwise they are, in fact, different combat styles. With me so far? We could go through this piece by piece. The fact that you have actual party members in Mass Effect versus the fact that you have to rely on players, and there's no option to have AI party members, pretty much means that that's one major change by itself in a nutshell. Second change is obviously the total lack of a vehicle section. Now, they try to supplant the vehicle section with this, and there are ways to augment and change this. However, the simple fact of the matter is, that is a method of transit, not a method of gameplay. I'm saying that wrong. Not a method of combat. There we go. That's a better way to put that. Nothing about this has anything to do with combat, other than trying to get out of the range for something. It functionally serves the same general purpose that the rocket pack does, just a little bit better. With me? Next point. Andromeda didn't have the same variety of weapons, or even the same weapon loot system at all. Instead, Andromeda, the majority of Andromeda's combat sat on its ability system. Now, the ability system in Andromeda is also different from this one, because even though they both have 3 ability things with the cooldown system, again, that's actually not true, because we actually have 2 ability systems, which are limited by class here. Whereas in Andromeda, you had 3 abilities to work with, which were limited by nothing, other than the fact that you had actually decided to spec into them. You could have someone who had an engineering ability, a gunner ability, and a biotic ability. And you could do that build, or you could have 3 biotic abilities, or you could have 2 engineering and 1 biotic ability, or whatever. The combination of those abilities and the way they interacted with each other was a fairly large portion of how the actual combat of Andromeda made sense. Here, while there is a combo system, that combo system has 2 major flaws to it. Flaw number 1, you only have 2 abilities to work with, and you can only equip abilities that are within the confines of your class. Problem number 2, the combos really only function when it comes to having another player in the group. In other words, the only way you ever really see the combo system at all is if you happen to be playing co-op. There's also the fact that the guns suck. We've covered that pretty succinctly. It could be argued that the guns sucking as badly as they are is mostly a byproduct of bugs. But the fact remains that this game has been out for how long now? Can someone look that up really quick, please? This game has been out for at least a month, I know. And the guns suck. The loot system in general sucks, and everything I've heard from everything everywhere is that once you get to a certain point of the game, you might as well just ignore the guns, because they simply do not keep up. February! Okay, so this game's been out since February, and the guns still suck. Next point. Andromeda, while it had a fairly weak story in terms of its main plot, actually managed to make some substantially interesting regional plots, and actually had a couple of characters which were memorable and cool. Now, that being said, I'll go ahead and just be honest with you that the story of Andromeda was pretty lackluster. It's, in fact, the weakest part of Andromeda. But at the very least, I was legitimately curious of what was going on, and there was some actual potential there. So far, this story is... God, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm actually struggling here to describe this game's story so far. I want you to do me a favor and name one character who isn't Owen as someone who is memorable or interesting. Go ahead, I'll wait.
Good. Now grab a chunk of that meat. I'm sure the scars will take the rest. Aha, good. We got it. One slab of Ursix ready to serve. Fresher the better. Now let's deliver it. I've marked the location for Princess Sim's hideout.
Who, Zeiss? Oh yeah, while we're comparing the transit system, let's go ahead and acknowledge something. This is cool. I want to make that very clear. This whole jetpack thing is actually a legitimately cool system. However, I do also have to criticize it because it has no functionality other than transit or avoidance. Now, you're probably thinking, what the hell does that mean? In Andromeda, it was actually a feasible tactic to go and jump into the not Mako, zip around an encounter that you're actually already in the middle of to either reposition yourself or to just shoot at the enemy with the Mako and then hop back out and go back to fighting. I know I did that several times myself. It was something you could actually do. The Nomad, thank you. You know, it was little, but it was there. It was something that you could actually do in order to try and affect the gameplay, or excuse me, the combat, rather than just going from point A to point B, or avoidance, like I said. This is cool, though. Again, I'm not going to dissuade that. This is definitely the best part of the game right here.
Now, before this reunion kicks off, do you really think Halleck and Faye will help? We're all professionals. Yeah, and I've seen professionals beat each other silly. It won't be like that. The stakes are too high. Let's hope. If the Dominion harness the Cenotaph, bad blood will be the least of our worries.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, I need to bash the story here really quick. Sorry. So, in case you missed that, because we had a crash in the middle of it, so I didn't have a chance to talk about it, or rather, I got distracted from talking about it. She's hiring us to go deal with this cataclysm thing, and we say, well, I can't do that. And then she says, don't worry, I've got 2 other people who can help you. And he's like, what, really? And she basically walks off. What immediately happens, same scene, seconds later, is Owen says, God, do we really need to do this? And our character's response is, yes, this is the only way. We went from maybe about 20 seconds from being like, what? To, this is our only chance. No shift. Someone just downshifted on the highway. Excuse me a moment. I have a phone call I need to address. Hello?
Okay, I've managed to sneak in. How?
Yes, I know I'm still muted. I'm still dealing with phone stuff.
If the regulators catch you? Yeah, it's not a problem. This place is one giant party. I'll see you inside.
Good morning, Korgoth. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there's... So I feel like there's two separate issues running into each other with regards to the story, okay? Issue one is exactly what you said. Writing being done by multiple teams who aren't really coordinating with each other. Given that we know for total certainty that there was literal infighting on the development staff, that wouldn't surprise me. I believe the second thing we're seeing involved here, though, is first draft writing. Now... anybody who's done any kind of significant writing over the years knows even just for your own fun or fan fiction or whatever, knows exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to first draft fiction. But for those of you who don't, the idea is you jot down something. It's like, and that's it's a rough outline of the direction you want things to go. It doesn't make a lot of sense in linear progression, and it tends to have, you know, connection issues, and the dialogue is frankly bad or disinteresting, or doesn't actually sound like a person speaking it. But the whole point is that you get something down on the paper so that you can then keep writing, because that's actually one of the most important hints when it comes to writing in general, is just write, just get it on the paper. So, what it feels like here is they did the sketch, as Kay puts it, and then they never went back and did the polishing passes that are required after that, the second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. drafts. As I've talked about many times, especially when it comes to, for example, television, it's usually an average of 5 to 7 drafts before you actually get to the copy that is handed to the actors that they then read on camera. That's normal. And when it doesn't happen, it usually is a bad thing.
Who are you? Need to see some friends of mine? They're working with Princess Zim. What did you bring? Tribute for Her Royal Highness. It's adequate. You can go inside.
Oh yeah, the cloak is super necessary for the armor to work, by the way, to go back to what people were talking about earlier. Oh hey, a cutscene.
How was the trip? Well, the trip? Oh, it was fabulous. Yeah, I just love hitching a ride on a smuggler strider. It was first-class comfort all the way.
Behold the wonders of the palace. All hail Princess Zim. Long may she reign.
They do know that she is not a real princess, right? She's just a crazy smuggler with delusions of grandeur.
You scoped this place out yet?
What, you think I went in there alone? Are you crazy? No, I've been standing here waiting for you. Besides, it's your friends we're looking for.
Let's go find Halleck and Faye.
Come on.
I can't switch armor yet, Baron. I will once I am capable of doing so, which I am not.
Is that them over there?
Also, in response to Korgoth, and I feel like I've said this 3 or 4 times now, I don't decide what I stream or ruminate on. You guys do. So if you're wondering why I'm playing this game, it's because you guys paid me to.
Pleasure doing business, Princess.
Our business is not yet completed.
No? I thought we had a... deal.
Who is this, Haluk?
No one.
An old friend. Please, invite your old friend over to join us.
I'm sorry, but we gotta go.
No. First, we celebrate our new partnership in the tradition of my people. Come, closer, friend of Haluk.
Scorpid and Stinger, highly acidic. It's going to burn going down. A lot.
You know, I had a big breakfast.
Refusing a meal is a grave insult to your host.
Yeah.
Why is this being played off for laughs?
Oh boy.
Forgive my ignorance, Princess. I didn't know people could eat this.
I come from a harsh and unforgiving land. Plants are scarce. Animals even more so. Before the Dominion conquered us, we had a saying. Food is life. Life is struggle. We understood that. We embraced it. It helped make us strong.
Thanks for the meal, Princess.
That was just the appetizer. The main course.
Oh.
Behold, the pheromone sac of a young Manticore, cured for an entire year in a vat of fermented chimera venom. A rare delicacy I have been saving for a special occasion.
After you, Princess.
I could not dishonor myself by eating while my guests go hungry.
I love Manticore.
Our deal?
Be sure to thank your friend Haluk.
Oh, you look a little green.
What do you want?
I think what he meant to say was thank you.
I have a contract.
A contract? Well, we don't need your charity.
Excellent.
Faye, Halleck, this is Owen.
Cypher and Lancer in the making.
Corvus sent me.
Corvus? Huh. What, you some kind of a hotshot now? You got a lot of nerve after all this time.
Quit being dramatic. Sit down.
I'd rather stand.
Let's all go back to the Strider. I'll explain.
We got our own thing going. Thanks, but no.
Wait. Something's not right.
What was that?
Scatter!
We'll keep your friends safe.
Don't worry about me. I'll see you there.
We had a little run with them earlier. Might have killed some of their guys. Guess that didn't sit so well.
Okay, whatever. Let's just play. This sword's too heavy. Thank you very, very much. I didn't want to interrupt the cutscene in its scintillating glory, but I did see your donation. I wanted to say thank you very, very much for the support. I'm glad you enjoy my stuff, as awful and terrible as it is, and I am glad that you enjoy, basically. It's always nice to feel appreciated. That being said, if there's any future streams that you're interested in, that you'd like to show interest in by putting that money towards it to help fund or raise in priority, just let me know, and I will put that towards that. Thank you again. You know, I wish I could pause right now. It's like the 5th time I've thought that this game. Remember these brutes? Those are the ones that were effortlessly gunning down people earlier. I just feel like pointing that out. And by gunning, I mean swatting, but you know what I mean. Actually, yes. Dakota, how old is it? Because after a certain point in time, under certain circumstances, and this actually happened to me, the UPS, the actual batteries in the UPS will basically go bad. The literal batteries inside the UPS. So at that point, you have two options. You can replace the whole UPS, or you can replace the batteries inside it. I just replaced the whole UPS because it's actually cheaper for me. I don't know what it's going to be for you, but that actually happened to me. In my case, it happened because I had a bad terminology. I don't know the words. The power socket that my UPS was connected to was not properly grounded, I want to say. I could be wrong about that. And so periodically it would effectively force a shift in the UPS thing, and the constant usage of it is what basically made my UPS go bad. Now that took about a year to happen. And that was for a UPS that was about 3 years old at that point. So I suppose that's the only advice I could give, is to check out the actual connections or whatever. Cyberpunk, sure. Give me just a second. Let me pop down into safety here. And pull up this and put it towards Cyberpunk. God dang it. Whatever. I guess I'll deal with that later. So, I suppose we'll talk about this on stream, too. So, I just found out... So, I mentioned I had a phone call just now. Did I just... You can get disconnected, too, SJ. As in, from the internet, and that'll kick you out. Anyways... yeah, I just found out. God, where do I even start? That was the apartment complex who just called me. Now, they apparently attempted to call me last week. I say apparently, I haven't gotten a call, and I've been very careful to pay attention to that.
I'll leave that to you.
Okay. Anyways, I didn't get any messages. I didn't get any phone calls. But according to them, they tried to call me. Sure, whatever. That being said, based on what I understand, I'm pretty sure it's just the woman in question who is not super competent. But the guy in question is super competent. He's the one I've always been dealing with. And so he's the one that, actually got a hold of me today. Anyways, long story short, the apartment the specific unit I want to move into is actually available next week. Instead of 2 months from now. So, I'm moving next week, apparently. I still need to get a hold of a few other people and hammer out a few other details, but...
Yeah, nothing's working. I can't...
Don't worry, you're clear. The Dominion are licking their wounds for the moment.
Good. I mean, we showed them. Now, I wouldn't mind getting inside the Strider.
I have no idea, Kay. I suppose we'll find out in, say, about 2 weeks. That does mean our streaming schedule is going to be a little interrupted, but that's okay. Well, can I make it in time? I'm packed now. I've been packed for a month, because I was supposed to be moving, like, last week, was the original plan. I am packed. I am ready to go. All I have to do is pack my computer stuff, my clothes, which I don't actually have to pack, I just have to get the clothes up. So, I have to pack my computer stuff, and, like, the toiletries, soap, toothpaste, that kind of thing, and my lighting setup. That's it. Like, the bed is just going to be moved. Everything else is already in boxes. I'm packed. I'm ready to go. I have been. No. This sword's too heavy. I'm going to be prorated for the first month, obviously. And then the rest of it's just going to be a year thing, like it was supposed to be originally. Do I have help? I don't know. I mean, I have several heavy things, but that's not going to be hard to move. It's just going to be awkward to move. Thankfully, I'm on the ground floor here, and I will be on the ground floor there.
What a rush. I'd say we really took it to the Dominion back there, right? And I think we'll agree that I was pretty fantastic.
Oh, are you serious? That was a disaster. You were a disaster.
Never do that again. Please?
Right. I'll just head to the amplifier.
Over here.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking even more precautions than I usually do with my computer. After 3 moves ago, when I fried my Mobo, yeah, I don't want to repeat that. I know it did it, though, so...
I should probably at least paint it or something.
The corrosion adds a nice patina. Should we talk about the weather next, or have we fulfilled our quota for small talk?
I don't think there's a penalty for going over. Read any good books lately?
Thousands of them. It's been a long time, you know?
It's good to see you again.
Is it? You're not just here because you need something. It doesn't matter. You're back.
I'm still picking up a lot of Dominion radio chatter, but
What?
excited about the sewers.
Why would he... Okay, whatever.
Sorry, why have we stopped?
Damn it all to hell.
Alec, you still haven't replaced that actuator?
It's still good. And shut up. I got this.
Yep, off to a great start.
Where's my socket wrench?
Left in the box, as usual.
Never thought you'd be back here.
Life's just full of surprises.
Switching off starboard power before it overloads.
Oh, come on. That's just half the fun.
Can we please hurry this up? They will be on top of us any minute now.
Pliers. So what are you doing here?
I'm helping you fix this garbage actuator. Again.
More reliable than some. So what's this contract of yours?
Can we please chat later? The Dominion will be here any second.
One, please, this is important. Just, you're not helping.
Screwdriver.
Which one? Use your words.
3/8, obviously.
I'm going back to the Heart of Rage.
Really?
The Dominion wants the cenotaph. Corvus hired me to get it first.
Well, that explains why Dominion troops showed up at Sims.
Faye, light us up. Faye and I have 2 years of research and legwork on this. And you want what? Jump in the end and claim credit?
Halleck, time is of the essence. We have a lead that requires a Lancer right now. Shouldn't we work together?
No! I can handle it.
You've got the Dominion on your back, and you don't think that maybe you could use a hand?
We could find someone else.
You go right ahead, mate.
Not in time, we can't.
You need me. And I can't finish this contract without you.
One job. Just one. I got a Strider to drive.
You said you have a lead?
We might. One moment. As expected. Hold these, please.
You found something. About the cenotaph or the Heart of Rage?
Zim did. Pays to have friends, you know.
Some friends.
I'm sure you've heard of the Legion of Dawn, General Tarsus.
What? General Tarsus?
Yeah, she entered the last Heart of Rage and reached the center, the cenotaph. How? I've done the research. Her javelin could do the impossible. It had unique shields and who knows what else.
Wait, you think you found her armor? The original Javelin of Dawn?
Yes, finally. Now we just need to go get it. Interested?
Well, personally, I can't wait to see it. Just give me whatever intel Her Highness had, and let's get the expedition started.
No need. I'll be supporting this mission. I've already done all the relevant research.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
What were you praising, Kay? I must have missed it. So someone asked, do you not have dialogue options in the cutscenes? No, you have dialogue options during these.
If it isn't my favorite freelancer. I hear you've been busy.
I try.
You're keeping the scars off us and got Bryn to work with a freelancer. No easy feats. I had a good feeling about you ever since you turned up. Keep proving me right, okay?
See? Dialogue options. Dialogue.
The fort's home. I've got to look out for it.
No argument here. It's good you settled in. Not everyone does. And I'm guessing Fort Tarsus wasn't in your plans before, well...
The Heart of Rage. I didn't know what would happen then or where I'd land after. Turns out it was here.
Happy you stuck around?
Yeah. Not sure what I expected, but this place grows on you.
I wasn't meant to be here myself. I was on a strider out of Helios. Supposed to end up in Anthem.
What happened?
Cataclysm. The sky turned yellow, ground changed under us. The survivors were brought here.
You never got to Anthem?
Didn't have the means to try again at the time, and now? I got good work, had a kid. The fort's home. Glad you feel the same. When you're here, anyway. Which reminds me, I should run checking your javelin before you're off again.
Thanks, Zoe. I'll see you around.
Freelancer is a term in a lot of games and fiction, and real life, actually. It's someone who does freelance work. Usually it basically is a shorthand for mercenary or bounty hunter or adventurer or whatever. I often see the term freelancer used in its sci-fi works in the same way fantasy works use the term adventurer. It's also a pretty cool game that you should totally play someday. Where am I? This button? Nope. This button? Nope, that doesn't help. Yeah, that's nice. Freelancer, the game Freelancer. Yes and no, respectively, Arcus. Well, I mean, again, how many games have you played where they just call you adventurer all the time, Zorian? So you're probably thinking, Laura, what are you doing? Well, I'm trying to figure out my level. Oh, there it is. Never mind. I see it. I see it. There it is. God, that's... So, you see that in the upper left? It's this extremely tiny font. It's so tiny, I'm not sure what level I am. But I am not level 9, which is the important part. So, I can't change javelins until I hit level 9. Anyways.
Freelancer, I trust your reunion with Halleck and Faye was productive.
There are a few less Dominion who will be bothering us.
Always good. So what's the next step?
The tomb of General Tarsus. They think her original javelin is still there.
I'll assume it's for more than just a historical tour.
Faye says that javelin could get us into the Heart of Rage.
Then I'm glad I could bring old friends back together.
Well, we're still getting, reacquainted.
Make it work. In the meantime, Corvus has other jobs that might interest you.
You know me. I'll take any job I can get.
These aren't your usual run-of-the-mill contracts. They're tough.
I can handle it.
Then talk to my agent, Seth, for a full briefing. He's in the bar. Or rush in if you want. I know that's more the freelancer style. Whichever the case, keep up the good work.
God, is it sad that I'm weirded out how long we've gone without a crash? Strongholds are combat-focused missions. As opposed to what exactly?
Could you come see me when you have a minute? We've got a complication.
Okay.
Give me a day. One more day, please.
Thank you for coming to see me.
You said there was a complication? What's happened?
I took a look at the intel Zim gave us.
It's no good.
She promised us 1 location. She delivered 5.
Well, all right. That's, unexpected.
Zim's data is a fragment of text from the Legionnaire Leotrel the Unbroken. She was the General's right hand and, according to legend, the one who laid Tarsus to rest. The text mentions guardians and 4 tombs that must be visited to find the Javelin of Dawn. The data's barely readable. I'll try to get more out of it while you and Owen look for these tombs.
Right. Send me the locations. I'll check them out.
Yeah, I can already tell the construction of how this mission's gonna go. Well, whatever, let's go. You can't do this. It literally will not let me do it private. Literally will not let me do it private. Not really, Korgoth. I mean, I acknowledge such biases, but that's not going to change whether or not a game gives a plus or a minus or whatever. I can't tell you how many times in my life someone has been like, oh my god, this book, show, game, movie it's so terrible, it's the worst, and I ended up liking it. And the vice versa. Oh my god, this thing is so amazing, and I ended up disliking it. I've had too much practice with discerning my own opinion from other people's opinions. Now, I do have my own biases to work around, but no, that's just an ongoing struggle. No, I agree with that, Dakota. You gotta stand there and pose.
The trials of the Legionnaires are the stuff of legends. Exciting! Let's go.
We ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba da ba.
Yeah, the tomb of the Forge Rite is supposed to be nearby, according to Princess Zim, which your friend Faye would really like you to find, if possible.
Ba ba da ba ba. Ba ba da ba. Where do you want me to go, game? My biggest bias in gaming? They're literally not even showing up on the minimap. Or are they just down here? Oh, there's not an inn. Jeez, I don't know, Crazy Norse. I'd actually have to think about that.
Oh, wait a moment. Zim's intel says this is where the tomb of the sharpshooter is supposed to be. It's one of the guardians you need to find for Faye's plan. I think you found the tomb of Artinia the sharpshooter.
You can't pause at all. No, his deviance.
Aspirant, you stand before the resting place of Legionnaire Artinia, Guardian of the Dawn. You have been judged and found wanting.
The moment I saw that menu, I realized what was going on here. In order to do this, you have to go do a list of random events in the world. You have to make achievements happen, basically. In most games that have, like, random events in the world, there's usually some kind of marker indicating them. So... like, there's a marker, right? For random events in this game. Because I gotta do 5 of them. Yeah, biases exist, and we should acknowledge that. We just should also deal with them as best as we can. I suppose my biggest bias in gaming would probably be towards certain types of genres of games that aren't really well represented.
The Sentinels just reported a Scar camp out here. They're posting a contract for it right now.
Oh, that sounds like an event. Where is it? Where's the? Is that the contract? Yep, there. Behold, event. We gotta do 5 of these.
Scars are playing this place. We need to get them out.
So, you're probably thinking, what genre would that be, Lore? TIE Fighter. Or Freelancer, actually, is probably a better example. The, space flight sims in general are extremely rare, especially good ones. And, flight sims that actually have the economy and trading and mission-based hub story progression campaign thing are even rarer. I could probably name off the top of my head like 6 of those. Hang on, let's actually think here for a second. So there's Freelancer, you know, the duh. There's Privateer, Wing Commander Privateer. There's that one I can never think of the name of, but it came out like 10 years ago. It's pretty decent. It's not great, but it's decent. Rude. Talking here. There was that one game we actually played, Rebel Galaxy. That was it, Rebel Galaxy. Actually played that one on camera. Wow, that's just gonna ignore that. Nope, X-Wing TIE Fighter are not of the Freelancer genre. That's all I got off the top of my head. The list I just gave. Elite Dangerous? No. Elite Dangerous is similar, but ultimately is a different shade of the same genre. Elite Dangerous is more on the flight sim side of things rather than the flight sim, economy, arcade, campaign-focused, story-focused thing of all the games I just mentioned, for example. I know there's a few I never got into. Like, I want to say Free Space? Or maybe that's not the one I'm thinking of.
That bit's done. We need to get these scars out of here.
The X series, that's the one. And the X series is one I never got into, and I tried to, and I failed at it, basically. So I suppose that answers your question, Kay. Hope you're enjoying this, because this is 1 of 5. I don't even know what we need to do for the other ones yet.
They are retreating. Full speed, too.
I did, Debigo. I even played it after it was massively patched. I mean, I would love Star Citizen if it... Well, I don't want to speak unkindly. But if it had content... and more than one system done. Alright, so let's figure out what these other ones need, shall we? So, that was Artania, which is that one. Let's try to go find this thing. Can I, like, mark this? Nope, I can't. So this would be a great Q&A section. Hang on. No Man's Sky, Octavian. It was acceptable to Big O. I wouldn't call it good, and I have no interest to actually keep playing it. It's better than it was, but that's frankly not saying much. Well, this game has jump packs, so that's better than Warframe. I also feel like I have a little bit better of an idea what's going on in this game than I do in Warframe. But Warframe doesn't do that. No, Korgoth. I couldn't even care about that. Although that isn't good design. For those of you wondering why I'm doing this, this is story progression. This is main plot quest line. This is not a side quest. It's not optional. This is main plot. You know what this means? I'm thinking out loud about how long this game is going to be. This probably means that this will be the last game I stream in this house. This frickin' Anthem. So anyways, but yeah, I love the flight. Warframe has several things I can't stand about it, which made me quit it. But overall is a pretty well-designed game. Of course, Korgoth! This game blows Dragon Age Origins. You know what my favorite part about Dragon Age Origins was? How I had to quit the game every hour, but randomly. Like, if I knew I had to quit the game every hour on the dot, that would just be boring. But this keeps it interesting by ensuring that I don't know what's going to happen next. It's a feature, exactly. It's like rolling the dice, and people like rolling dice, right? That's why Vegas is so popular. This is another thing that Warframe does better than this. Warframe's load times are nil. Like, fire up the game, takes maybe 5 or 6 seconds. It's almost instantaneous for a big game like that. And then bam, you're on your ship. And then you actually load the zone, the mission. That takes maybe 8 seconds, maybe 10. And then bam, congratulations, you're in the game. Just... Alright, so what I was about to try and do... Really? You're not gonna...
They're falling back. Good work.
Yay, I did it! Oh, I did... Honestly, it would take me much less time than that. Granted, I do have a Doom computer and I'm running it on an SSD. But... if you're asking what level I'm at, the answer is I don't know, Baron. 5 or 6. I can't even tell now, it's not even showing up. I love how I can't mark stuff on my map. That's actually my favorite feature, I think. Where the hell is it? That's the one I was trying to get to earlier, isn't it? That I couldn't figure out where it was. Yeah. You try to go around? Maybe it's around. Sure. I believe you, Arm Devil. Nope. Need to go this way. Can't go this way. Maybe I can go up. Up, 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 up. Nope, nope. Can't go that way. Too tall, too high up. Okay, well, we'll try the other way then. You're gonna have to define that a little bit better for me. This sword's too heavy. Like, what do I think about the roadmap concept? Even that's just kind of a complicated question. What do I think about people abandoning roadmaps? That's complicated. Like, help me out. What are you asking specifically? I've got tons of time to talk. I just need to know what the question is. I also want someone to show up with a gun and shoot me, like, right now. Could you do that for me, please? Just... Don't literally do that, please. I would rather not deal with that in my life. Again.
This is it. Tomb of Avenia the Fortrite.
Alright, what do you want me to do?
Aspirant, you stand before the resting place of Legionary Venia, Guardian of the Dawn. You have been judged and found wanting.
I have to gain 8 collectibles, harvest 10 more crafting materials, find 12 more treasure chests, and repair 2 other players. This is a negative. I'm just going to go ahead and give this a gameplay negative. This is dumb. I don't even feel like I need to explain this one. I really don't. What's the name of this quest? Let's get specific here. Challenges of the Legionnaires. It keeps saying that open the cortex to track. What the hell's the cortex button? I'm just gonna look it up. Controls, here we go. What is the cortex button? J. What? But it doesn't list what they require. Oh my god, it doesn't list what they require. Never mind, it's under challenges apparently, under expeditions. Because it's extremely stupid. There we go. Why would... Why would you do this game? You know what? I better only let you track one objective at a time, too. Let's find out. Track. Alright, now let's also track the other one. Oh, maybe it actually does let you track. Holy crap, I'm going to be astonished if it lets us track all 3. Or none of them? That's gotta be me. That's gotta be me. I've got to have done something wrong there. Track. No, they're all listed as tracked. So it sounds like what you're asking me, this sword's too heavy, is you're specifically asking me if a game promises something, what do I feel about it not delivering on that? Honestly, that almost feels like a weird question, because that's horrible. That's always a horrible thing when a game is like, yeah, we'll totally do such and such, and then they super don't, you know? So yeah, I would say that's bad. In fact, I'd say that's mega bad. Especially if it's something that was supposed to be a free update, for example. So, yeah, no, that's horrible. Now, if someone thinks they deserve a refund, that's getting a lot trickier. Refunds are one of those really weird aspects of economic society that, as I've talked about before, are actually a surprisingly recent change. Or innovation
Scouting around your area. You watch yourself.
to economics, excuse me. Oh, hang on. That's an event. We need events. Not that I'm aware of, Console House. No.
We need to deal with them.
Aw. I was hoping there would be like some collision damage. Hey, these are skull level. That's always nice. I like fighting skull level stuff. Or maybe those are just elites. I don't freaking know. I'm not even sure I care at this point. Although I'm being attacked from so many angles, I can't really do anything about it. I go into cover, but it's not a thing. So I'll just die. I like death. It's coarse, it's irritating, it gets everywhere. Oh my god. Where am I?
Detecting a big wave of Shaper energy somewhere close at hand.
I need events.
The relic's spawning something. Be careful.
Working on it.
That's one. Good. Find the fragments and bring them back to the Shaper relic.
Really?
That will silence it.
I've never done this type of quest before. Could you please tell me in Steve's voice exactly what this request requires of me? I'd really appreciate it.
Great, but you're not done yet. Scars, we've got an ambush on our hands. Great, but you're not done yet. One silence relic. Thanks for that one.
Up. Defeat the remaining scars. Well, okay, sure. Anyways, does that answer your question? This sword's too heavy. Did I address that properly at all? Did I fail? Like, my brain is gone right now, and I'm thinking about moving, so... What am I have to do to make that happen? Oh my goodness. What game? FF6? Yeah, it's a pretty riveting game. Oh yeah, we're super Q&A right now. Anybody, God, please ask me a question. Anything! Give me something to think about. My brain is tired. Are we done? Do we do it? Do I like this game? I prefer arcade controls in general, Loner. Although I like, you know, kind of slightly more on the Sim side of arcade. Or slightly more on the arcade side of Sim, if you prefer. The FF7 trailer. Yeah, I'll talk about that tomorrow. What's better, this or Andromeda? Andromeda. How's the spring pollen? Pretty bad. My poor niece has been having issues. Will I have a lot to say about it? Probably not. We're going to do a trailer analysis, but that's it. Wow, that actually does damage. Being too high, I'm not even that high right now, does damage. That's actually kind of cheap. I just want to go over that little hill right there. That's all I want to do. The game's like, no, you get to go around. I haven't seen Spain yet. Am I going to try any Stronghold missions? Probably. Am I going to pug with anyone? No. I mean, I'm technically pugging right now. Do I think this would be better playing with my viewers? No. I mean, we can all be bored together. Chicken meals I like. Chicken nuggets. For the win. I actually don't like chicken all that much, in all seriousness. It's never been my thing. What JRPG would I recommend for someone who's never played any before? Dragon Quest XI, Final Fantasy IV on Steam, or... I guess we'll stop there. Do I like vegetarian food? What the hell is vegetarian food? Like, I love vegetables and fruit. What would I do with my life if you gave me the millions I need? So obviously, the first thing I would do is I would make sure that my family and friends are taken care of for the rest of their lives. But I know that's not actually what you're asking me. You're asking me what I would do with my life. So I would continue doing the Star Trek shows, absolutely. No question. I enjoy doing that. I want to do that. And I know a lot of people like, you know, going all through the Star Treks with me. So, that would keep happening. I'm out of ammo! Oh, God, I'm out of ammo. I thought about retirement. You're funny. I mean, yes is the obvious answer, but you're still funny. Thank you very much, Game Over Scythe. As ever, and as always, I do appreciate those subs. Thank you. I'm trying to bow while not dying, so please forgive me. But I'm managing it. See, I'm kind of bowing here. If there's any future streams you're interested in that you'd like to put that towards, just let me know. And thank you again. Oh, so you mean alternate meat? No, I don't like alternate meat. I don't like tofu. I don't like the patty stuff they do. I can't even remember what it's called. I just don't care for the taste for it, like, at all. So, God, I was in the middle of answering another question. I can't remember what it was. Whatever. Have I ever done a lore run of Persona 5? No. Although it's technically allowed now, any run of Persona 5 would be a premiere run at this point. I don't actually like the Persona series, I never have. So... I hope this is an event or something, and I'm not just killing these things for no reason. Yes, I have, Lycon, but I can't actually give you my opinion, I'm afraid, because I'm not going to spoil it. Even for an Anthem stream, the no spoilers rule for unrelated topics still exists. Sorry. What's my spice limit? It's actually gone down as I've gotten older. Used to be pretty damn high. Nowadays, a habanero is about as high as I can go. Does Bigfoot exist? No. Is the Earth flat? No. And I'm not talking about Pro Jared. Would I rather play Ride to Hell than Anthem? No. As much as I am still legitimately proud of my Ride to Hell Retribution lore run, and I am very proud of what I managed with that one. And I think it's actually one of my best lore runs, and I mean that with sincerity. However, it was still an absolutely awful game to actually play. Like, it was just terrible to slog through that awful, awful game. I hope it was fun to watch, because it was awful to play. Guilty pleasures. You know, I've been asked that question in various formats over the years. And the more I get asked that question, the more it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't feel guilty about enjoying just about anything I enjoy.
Sim's intel suggests there's a Tomb of the Blade Master nearby, which is apparently important to Faye for this plan of hers.
You're on to us, Jay. Favorite food? I mean, I'm pretty sure chat could answer that one. But sushi. And yes, Ethan Phillips actually has done quite a bit of voice acting work over the years, including for BioWare games. You know what? I don't even care about you guys. Where's this thing? Where's this thing?
Oh, welcome. Pay close attention. Hopefully you'll learn something.
There it is. Okay. Alright. Whoever donated, I hope you understand, I literally can't pause this game. So I can't go check the donation right now. But if you give me a moment, try to get to a safe spot. And then maybe I can check and see what that was. Oh! The retirement question. That's what I was in the middle of answering. Okay, so I would continue doing the Star Trek videos because I enjoy doing those and I want to keep doing those. And basically I'd keep doing them anyways. I just wouldn't be doing it on camera otherwise. So I'll just keep doing those. And I would keep streaming. I would love to continue and expand the In-Depth Classic series as well as the Premiere Runs series. And I would probably go ahead and continue doing lore runs because I love lore running stuff. As painful and costly as it is to do. And there's a few other little side projects I'd like to really dedicate myself towards. For example, I'd love to actually pay my voice actors for the FF9 theater thing so we can actually finish that.
The Tomb of the Blade Master, Gannis.
What do you want me to do?
Aspirin. Before you lies the final of Legionnaire Garnis, Guardian of the Dawn. You have been found wanting.
So I have to kill 50 things with melee and 45 things with ultimates. Well, since I am capable of pausing right now, let's go see who donated. It was Korgoth. Just a quick distraction from Anthem. You're right! Thank you very, very much, Korgoth. As ever and as always, I do much appreciate your support, and I am thankful for it. If you'll give me a moment, I'll jot that down. Towards Breath of the Wild. Thank you again, sir. So, I don't think Octopath Traveler would be a lamentation. Ride to Hell Retribution absolutely would be a lamentation. I can't decide on this one name yet. I have a rule when it comes to lamentations. I don't actually decide if something's a lamentation or not until I'm there, basically. Once I'm actually at it, once I've actually played it and gone through it, that's when I usually decide when something is a lamentation. And so if, having not actually beaten this game... My god, that's way over there. Having not actually beaten this game, I can't really decide whether it's a lamentation yet or not. I would say no, Zeiss. And I would tell him to put the gun away. Stop pointing it at my head. Guns aren't cool. But you know what I mean. Can you cheat in this game? No. If I could, would I? That's an interesting question. So, let me ask a counter question. How do you cheat to make this thing I'm doing right now better? Legitimate question. Like, autocomplete? Well, let's assume that isn't an option. Let's assume that's not a thing. The only thing you could do is to cheat like stats or damage output or, typical cheats, right? Because autocomplete cheats, those are kind of rare and usually a lot harder to actually make happen. So again, let's assume the only cheats you have are basically the normal cheats. Warp to location, that's a good one. That would actually be pretty useful. If I could just warp up here and be like, Bzz, that would actually be pretty legitimately useful. I actually showed that off during Assassin's Creed. God, how do I get over there? I guess I go right? I think? Flight speed is another one that occurs to me immediately. Reveal map. That would be pretty nice, too. Have I mentioned meleeing has a cooldown? I think I have mentioned that a few times. I know what you're doing. Laura, what are you doing? I have to kill 50 things with melee, so... Invincibility? I mean, I'm not in a huge threat of dying, if we're being completely honest with ourselves here. Not because I'm great or anything, but just because it's like, okay, whatever. Yep, nope, this is the right way. I didn't even see it, Baron. Yes, please repeat it. Any questions I'm not answering, it's because I didn't see them.
Numbers in the area. There's a call to check it out. Scars are settling in. We need to stop that from happening.
Nobody likes scar sellers. See, this is what causes Disney villains to go bad.
Good. Get to the next one.
Next one what? What are you talking about? I mean, if you mean the turret, sure. Whatever. Kind of busy right now, thanks. See, the problem is you're asking me about one game, Baron, and I'm like, I only get to pick one? Let me turn that question around. For those of you guys out there, if you could give me the power to into existence one game about the extant, what would you want most?
Getting closer. One more.
AOD, actually. EOD. RPG. Of course you'd pick an RPG, which is funny because RPG is like the last thing I'd pick. I have no idea, Crazy Norse. As ever, it's not really me who decides that kind of thing. We'll see how bad this padding is. That should be our 4th event.
The scars will keep being a threat if we don't clear the area.
4th or 5th, I've actually lost track if I'm being honest. That's it, we're done. Now kill everything here. Oh, and we need to talk about your definition of the word done. Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and pop that. Because we need some ultimate kills. Nothing? Nothing? Wait, there's a guy. Of course I didn't kill him. Speaking of which, I should be doing this too. Favorite Westwood game? Earth and Beyond. Why? Well, aside from the fact that it was awesome. It was a rarity. It was an MMO where you played your ship, not your person, and I actually really liked that. I also liked a lot of where the story was going. It never actually got there. And I also really enjoyed being able to play 3 different playstyles relatively equally. In other words, the game wasn't just combat. It was mostly combat, but not just. Even the trader's main focus was the fact that they could have really long-range missiles. Like, imagine getting into combat with someone who is so far away they're not even sure where you are, and you're just missiling them to death. That was how you played a traitor. Trader, traitor, in that game. It was actually quite fun. It was a good game. EA killed it because it wasn't making enough money. Not that it wasn't making money. It wasn't making enough money. Favorite game franchise. I guess FF wins by default, Arcus? It feels weird to say that, though. But I guess it is true, yeah. I don't actually consider myself that much of an FF fan, as weird as that may sound. Where am I? Oh, I'm here, so I need to go this way. What game?
We need to stop them.
I don't see an event thing, so piss off. Which game am I most anticipating this year? Either MechWarrior 5, Bloodstained, or Subnautica 0, etc. I feel like there's a few others that I'm really looking forward to, but those ones come to mind immediately. What would I do to improve this story? Oh, jeez. I mean, other than the obvious answer of everything. Alright, so I've actually already talked about this, but to reiterate, first of all, this is now a Mass Effect game. Okay? So, you're probably thinking, wait, what? So this is a Mass Effect game. We could set it in Andromeda or in the Milky Way galaxy. Actually, there's ways to make both stories work. But, yes, I have, Kira. But both games, the general idea is that this is a lost colony world that basically has become stranded on the world it's on. If this is in the Milky Way galaxy, this colony is here and stranded because of the fact that the end of Mass Effect 3 happened, and several of the worlds were just kind of, lost, right? Like they basically got lost to the wilderness, so to speak. So this is a colony world that used to be part of the intergalactic network, and that intergalactic network is gone. We're stuck here. With me so far? So that's the first thing. Second thing I'd do is I'd go ahead and make it so that instead of having generic bad guys A and generic ancient power of doom B, I would say that we're actually specifically going through here to try and find pieces and remnants of our own tech from actual ships, our ships that actually crashed here after the boom at the end of Mass Effect 3. You with me so far? So, basically, I feel like there's actually a game or setting or whatever that does exactly what I'm talking about, but the idea is scavenging and salvage are suddenly king. I guess Battletech kind of does that, because the idea here is we've got our tech, which we've been basically hodgepodging together, and then we've got the actual tech from the spaceships, which is, tech that was made by a factory that was specifically designed to make that sort of thing, which is in far better condition, in other words. It's not better because the Ancients are super awesome, it's better because it was made by an actual... I guess Fallout kind of does that, now that I'm thinking about it. It's better because it was made by an actual factory and actual workers designed to actually make that kind of thing in a large-scale infrastructure system, which we no longer have. So, shift the story focus away from, we've got to stop the Dominion from taking the... and shift it more in the direction of, we have to survive. Make this a story about how the different factions are being generated, are forming, or interacting with each other, or how, in some cases, racial divides or species divides completely segregate or stop existing in favor of more financial divides or literal chemistry divides, like some groups, the pro... I can't remember what they're called, but, the people who eat different acidic foods are having trouble. Like, so the Turians and the Quarians are, like, squaring off against the Krogans and the humans, kind of a thing. My point being is there's a lot I feel you could do with that. I feel there's a lot of potential with that baseline. And the main plot I would probably make about basically trying to get some kind of ship that could get to space at all, like something that is, space-worthy. And the idea would be that by the time you finish the campaign, you would effectively reached a point where you have successfully done it. You have actually found enough or scavenged enough, or repaired enough, so that you can actually have a ship that can go to space. And the specific ending that would go towards would depend on who you were working with, which factions you had allied with, and thus who it is you effectively give the keys to the spaceship. Would I axe the trials? No, of course not. This is the best quest design I've ever seen in the history of video gaming ever, and it should be rewarded and venerated for being awesome and fantastic. I'm gonna die.
Getting closer. One more.
A 4X strategy game in the extent? That would be interesting. Yes and no, Loner. Basically yes, but not in a way that is probably how that sentence is meant to invoke. I think it would be more accurate to say that Epic is receiving data on customers and users and information and whatnot for Tencent, and Tencent's information is fully owned by the Chinese government. So make of that what you will. Trials or Radiant quests? Or Escort quests? I'll take Escort quests in that list. Easily, and any day of the week. I don't like Radiant quests. Of course, they're irritating. They get everywhere. Quick quiz question. How many of you can actually tell what's going on the screen right now? Or, like, over the last several minutes, I should say. I'm just curious how the visual chaos looks to you guys, because, like I said, I have issues distinguishing stuff. Like, I just start to mentally blank out most of what's happening on screen and focus on a few specific things.
Okay, that part is finished. Can't let the scars cause more trouble. We need to clear the area.
Why? I was just about to say, well, I killed them all. Silly me.
They're falling back. Good work.
No, they aren't. What crack are you on?
Nicely done.
Whatever. World event complete. I'm out. Let's go get this. Whew. Good thing I got all the storm parts. I'll need them for... I miss any other questions in the middle of that mess? I guess I never answered the extant question, really. What? Why am I loading? I'm very confused. What do I think Disney made the biggest mistake with Star Wars? I got disconnected. Still need to do one more world event. Do a bunch of stuff there. Kill a bunch of stuff there. Yes, and I'll talk about that tomorrow, Marcus. Like, if you want a knee-jerk reaction of just, you know, what do you think of it? I don't, really. It's there. If you wanted an analysis on it, that's going to be done tomorrow. Good examples of a developer seemingly not understanding their own mechanics. I mean, you gave a good example, but I'm calling it blank here on anything else. God, I'm sorry. I probably look so boring. It's my job to entertain you guys, and I'm just sitting here watching my soul slowly leave my body. I'll try to be entertaining. Hey, this game is so amazing, and it's the best. There's nothing better. EA is totally amazing and didn't give me $23 million or anything. It's so great. I'm so happy for this money. I mean, for this game that EA gave me. This right here, by the way. This right here is one of... Oh, God, now I have to go all the way back out. Whatever. This here is one of the reasons why I really don't enjoy... why I don't do sponsored things. Because any sponsorship that I take would inevitably damage my own ability to do my own job to the point where the amount of money they would have to give me for that sponsorship would have to be enough to basically retire. Which will never happen. There's no... Even the really big streamers only make like 1.5 million a year. Which, God, that makes me sad thinking about that, but whatever. So in other words, even if I was making 1.5 million a year, like, I don't know at that point. Because I know what you're thinking, Lore, what's wrong with you? Well, 1.5 million is a fairly large amount of money. But that's also before taxes. So that's a lot smaller than that after taxes. And so that would be a decent chunk of money. Like, really. But that chunk of money would really only benefit me and maybe some of my friends on a small scale. So I'm basically torpedoing my career in order to have a job I hate and the possibility of occasionally buying my friends dinner. You know? No setting my mom up and taking care of her medical problems. No getting the surgeries I need. No making sure that my niece is fully cared for and has a safety net for when she gets older. Or my other niece. You know, none of that. Just... yeah. So, if you could buy progress for the trials, that's actually funny. I don't think I can access the store from in here, which means a loading screen to check it. So, someone else check the store. Because I can't see the store right now, and I don't feel like a loading screen, and then another loading screen. I don't feel like it right now. Okay, It's just always raining here, isn't it? I call this rain. This is PS2 era rain. Maybe that's the only thing the graphics actually affect, is the rain particles. Well, again, it boils back to the old concept, this sword's too heavy. At a certain point in time, I will absolutely sell out my dignity in exchange for money. Of course I will. I'm a pragmatist. But the amount of money that requires is sufficiently high that the odds of it actually happening are basically non-existent. You know how much money I would make if I was to do bounties, or if people were to give me sponsored deals? Maybe at absolute most, like $7 an hour for my work. That's not worth jack to me. If I wanted to make $7 an hour, well, there's something wrong with me, first of all. But second of all, there are plenty of other ways to do that. Hello? God dang it. So, for example, if I made $1.5 million, I might be willing to do that, to sell myself out and become a shill for $1.5 million.
Supposedly there's a scar build-up around here. The fort's issued a call to clear it out.
But that's not happening. That's just to summarize. That's not even on the feasibility range. No, I will be lucky if I can make the bills meet. Make ends meet, you know? And that's not e-begging, that's just truth. Living is expensive. Yeah, I suppose technically you guys are my sponsors.
Just one more.
Gonna die.
Okay, that part is finished. The scars will keep being a threat if we don't clear the area.
You know, one of these days I want to meet the person who invented the raspberry jam effect and ask him, just forthrightly, why? Why was this a good idea in your mind? Why did you do this? I'm honestly curious of the justification of it. Because the only justification I've ever come up with is, well, you're low on health, so you should have a harder time playing the game. And that sounds like a joke, but I don't mean it as one. I've actually heard people legitimately argue in favor of the raspberry jam effect, specifically so that you have a harder time playing the game when you are low on health.
That's a job well done.
Okay, so that should be 5 world events now. Oh my god, it actually told me the trial was complete. Holy crap. The game has basic levels of competency. Who's shooting at me? Oh, they are. A 1 out of 5, actually, Baron. I haven't even found the 5th one yet. Oh, Jesus.
Oops. Seeing an increase in Shaper energy close by.
Yeah, that's an event. I don't care about events anymore. At least I don't think I do. Maybe I do? I don't know. Where am I? I'm going the right way. Actually, was going the right way. Who knows? I mean, I'd probably enjoy a Stargate game. It depends on how good it is. I'm actually not sure what type of game... I mean, I guess this genre of game would be a good fit for Stargate, you know. Actually, let's go and do this one now. No, I kind of already figured out how the ultimate works anyways. I have a limited amount of time and 3 shots. 1 lightning, well, 1 ice, then lightning. 1 fire, then lightning, and 1 lightning, then lightning. It's pretty decent for doing damage, it's just... okay. I'm sorry, this sword's too heavy, your message cut off, so I don't know what you're saying there. No reason, Platty. No reason at all. I'd say I can't remember the last time I worked that little, but I actually can remember it because I have decent memory. It's weird to think of nowadays. So I'm done harvesting. I still need to do a lot of melees and a lot of ultimates. Oh my god. Any more questions? I mean, bring it on. We have so much padding to do here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do real quick? See you around upon a time. I'll just... Then, what? I admittedly haven't thought of lunch. Oh no, I have thought of lunch. I'm gonna have a frozen thing. Something nice and cheap. That's a good question. So, ignore Anthem for a second. Okay, just... wrong hand. There. Pretend it doesn't exist, okay? Now, what's the worst BioWare game to you prior to this one? If the answer is Andromeda, erase Andromeda from the list, too. Because Andromeda's kind of cheating.
The Tomb of the Tactician is supposed to be around here somewhere, according to Princess Sim. You might want to find it for Faye in her master plan.
I was thinking Mass Effect 3 as well. I'm kind of with you on that, Black Bile. As much as Dragon Age 2 is a massively flawed game, it is still enjoyable with cheats, in my opinion. Whereas I can't really say the same thing about Mass Effect 3. Also, I don't think I've ever cheated in Mass Effect 3. But regardless. But Dragon Age, like Mass Effect 3, had several good moments, in my opinion. Legitimately. It really did. There are several entire story sections, which I thought were awesome in Mass Effect 3. And I stand by that statement to this very day. But Dragon Age 2 had more than just a few good moments for me, you know what I mean? Now, The gameplay of Dragon Age 2 can suck it. But, you know. Oh, tell me there's another enemy. Inquisition actually rates similar to Mass Effect 3 for me, but better. In short, I don't really care for the gameplay of Inquisition. I feel it's horribly slanted. Although all the Dragon Age games have that problem, really. I also feel like some of the early parts of Dragon Age Inquisition drag. And I think the main plot of Dragon Age 3 is awful. Just, sorry. However, I very much like the characters of Dragon Age Inquisition. I very much like most of the individual stories of Inquisition. I love the lore of Inquisition, and I love the way that it actually followed through on a huge amount of choices from both 1 and 2. Like, in both cases, there's, it did a lot, you know what I mean? It did a lot to actually acknowledge and show the consequences of your choices for the previous 2 games. Story reason why I'm an elemental? We're a mage. It's literally the storm. No. Hi, Hazardous. Anyways, why were we talking about Bioware? Oh, yeah. So we were talking about, like, how much does this game suck, right? So we then have to say, once we establish the worst of Bioware, we have to put this game alongside it. So, again, for me, that's Mass Effect 3. So, is this story worse than Mass Effect 3 so far? Keeping in mind that even Mass Effect 3, as I just said, in my opinion, had legitimately great parts to it. Where the hell? Where the hell? Okay, that's south, so that's north. It should be, like, right here. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, yeah, I'm at the best part of the game, Hazardous. This is the amazingness. Now, a lot of why several people, myself included, bash Mass Effect 3 so much is because it was Mass Effect 3. It was the epic conclusion to a trilogy, right? And I don't really feel bad about that opinion. You know, if you're going to have a big finale to something, it needs to be an appropriate finale to something. Or to kind of summarize that statement a little bit, you remember how earlier someone was asking, will I be judging this game based on the fact that it's a Bioware game? No. However, I would absolutely be Where? I would absolutely be judging Mass Effect 3 based on it being a Mass Effect game because it was the epic or it was supposed to be the epic conclusion to a trilogy, right? Sense make? So, Mass Effect 3 had issues, as I think I explained, especially going back through for the lore run. And then, on top of the fact that Mass Effect 3 was in many ways a bad game, in my opinion, we added on to the fact that it was the trilogy ender, which was just, ugh, on top of everything else. So it's hard to compare the story between the two. However, I would say that so far, this story has yet to make me go, yeah! Whereas Mass Effect 3 has made me do that multiple times. Next point, gameplay. Mass Effect 3's gameplay was actually pretty good. It was actually one of its higher points. Now, funnily enough, I can't quite say the same about this game, but at the same time, if we apply the same metric to Mass Effect 3, we can actually see how we need to once again divide gameplay from combat. Gameplay and combat obviously are related to each other, but it is my opinion that the combat of Mass Effect 3 was actually quite good, whereas the gameplay of Mass Effect 3 was kind of awful. The quest log, the methods of how you obtained quests, the method of transit, the nature of how you upgrade your kit, or how you customize your characters, the actual specific missions themselves, and the way that they were constructed, the level design. All of these are aspects of gameplay that, in my opinion, Mass Effect 3 failed miserably at. Combat was good, but you see where I'm going with that? And if that sounds familiar, that's because I have a very similar opinion here, but kind of in even more distanced. Because the gameplay of this game so far is massively not impressing me, as is probably obvious by the minuses that are all over the place here. And I would say, well, the combat's better, but actually it's not. The combat is actually pretty damn boring so far. There are some good core elements here. There's the outlines of what actually could be an awesome system. But other than the jump jets, and the flying mechanic, and the cooldown system, there's not a lot here. So what do I need for this one? Oh my god, we're actually done with one.
Is complete. You are worthy. Enter, aspirant, and greet the Guardian.
One moment, please.
Well, phase information said to greet the Guardian, so why don't you try that then?
Matchmaking failed.
Well, that's one down. Just 3 to go.
You're kidding me. What? What? I did all this. Oh, hang on. I'm gonna mute the game here for just a second so I can talk to my sister. Hi, sis.
Tassin has contacted us for help regarding a missing agent of hers in the area. Okay, the Corvus agent lost contact in this area. I'll start tracking their link. Scars, watch yourself. Too late for the agent. Sorry. I'll unlock their link, recover what I can for Corvus. Wait, hold up. You need to stay close. Gate, watch out.
That has been asked many times, Cubic, but that's okay. It's still a semi-new thing. The bracketed thing means it is a hypothetical. As in, it's actually not codified yet. You know how I would put things in italics on the document? That's that.
Push them back. We can't let them
Any questions? No, of course not hazardous. How long till level 9? I don't even have a level indicator right now. It's literally not there. I'm not sure I've been gaining experience. Comedians? Yeah, I liked Eddie Izzard. I haven't listened to him in a long time. And I guess that's it. I'm not much of a comedian person.
Back in range.
What is my level? Well, it was 5 or 6. I'm still not actually sure on that one.
Push them back. We can't let them interfere.
Basically, yeah, Dakota. That is what appears to be the truth. Hello. There we go. Didn't even freeze him. Whatever. Hope you liked your choice, because you're stuck with it till level 9. Or whatever. I'm pretty sure it's level 9. What's funny is nothing actually indicates that. That was one of those loading screen tooltips. That's how I know that's a thing. Hot Pockets? No, I've never liked Hot Pockets. I tried them for a while, back in my college days. I didn't care for it. Them, I suppose. Hi, Bragwin. Sadly, my gift to my mom will not be getting there until, like, Monday, but whatever.
Wait, losing it. You need to stay in range.
I've already decided we're going to try Colossus next. We've kind of already tried the middle one. Oh, is that the melee one? I think we might be done with melee. Hang on, let's go this way. Yes, Our Mother's Day is tomorrow. They're actually still... God, their accuracy is stupid. So, did we actually finish... We did, so we need to kill more things with ultimates. And we need to find treasure chests and collectibles. And that's going to be the worst. No, that's not true. Repairing javelins. How the hell could someone Google Trials of Yevenia and help me figure out how the hell I'm going to find javelins to repair? Like, in summary. Oh, I'm aware of what you have to do. What I want to know is how to make that happen. Other than the obvious, have a party member who you are coordinating with who dies repeatedly so you can res them. Because that's a thing. Collectibles and treasure chests. And a few more ultimate kills. This server session will expire in an hour. That's great. Why? You see, the problem here is if I group, the only way for that to actually work is for me to not help them at all, but then to basically deliberately try to get them killed, like by luring enemies to them or whatever, and just following them around, not talking to them, not helping them, not coordinating, and then rezzing them whenever they die. In other words, the only way to do that without some kind of coordination or something else is to be an asshole. To be just a horrible player. And that's why I said, could someone look that up for me? Because surely there's some other way, right? Like, there's got to be some other way to do that. Like, I haven't rezzed a player to date, and yet I have 1 of 3. So how do I have 1 of 3? Because I've never rezzed a player. I've never even interacted with another player. So... Now, I was thinking, the NPCs, and yeah, in the tutorial. Aha! Free play has downed sentinels that work for the challenge. Perfect! Where are those? So I can, you know... I am, in fact, talking about that Gullbag, yes. I'm just roaming right now. I'm looking for treasure chests. I have no idea what to look for treasure chests. I've already harvested all I need. I just need collectibles and treasure chests. If anybody sees something that looks like a treasure chest, please feel free to point it out. I guess I could kill these guys. Hey, is there a bunch of bot guys here? No. I want like 4 guys. I need more than 4 guys. Hey, I'm here. Look at me. Look at me. The person who came up with this idea needs to be stabbed. This is terrible gameplay design. Whatever, let's just blow it. They really don't want to group up, do they? Look at this. Like they are actually trying not to group up on me. No confirmed gameplay positives, no. There will probably be 2, I think. That is horrible, Gullbag. That is actually awful. Not just design-wise, but just code-wise, that's terrible. Hello. There we go. That counted for anything, but sure. So we've obviously given a negative for this trial section, and it is extremely deserved. The real question is, do we give it a second negative? I'm only kind of kidding. Like, I'm actually curious how bad this will get. So far, I've been doing what I call guaranteed progressions. Now, a guaranteed progression is something that it may take time or it may take effort, but you're guaranteed to progress in it. It's gonna happen, right? Now I have to go find collectibles and chests. That is the opposite of a guaranteed progression. That is when randomization, or lack of certainty, is put into it. In other words, I'm not sure if I'll be able to find 10 treasure chests or 8 collectibles. I'm gonna try, but I'm basically just roaming around here, trying to find random stuff randomly in the world. That's, yeah. Which moment are you talking about, Hazardous? I'm sorry. That's true. The reward is also insult. You know what the reward is? We get to continue the main quest. Oh, nope, that's still harvesting. Maybe what's this? I don't even know what qualifies as a collectible. Oh my god. So things not counting in party towards completion has been one of my biggest pet peeves about MMOs since forever. WoW only really started figuring that one out as of Warlords. That's how recent that is. That's how long that was a problem for them. Well, if lore tidbits counts, that's at least one thing I can keep an eye out for, other than the chests. Because these are actually kind of easy to see from a distance. I have a feeling chest is going to be the bane. What do you want to bet? That's going to be the thing I just have trouble finding. I know these are collectibles. Guess we won't die. I mean, if I gave up every game the first time it sucked really badly, I would play a lot less games than I do, especially for the show. And if we're being honest, there's other points in other games that have been as bad as this that we've covered that have gotten negatives for it. The catch, of course, is I can't cheat in this one to help bypass this. And as ever, it is kind of my job to be entertaining, too. Watch my viewer count just plummet. Is he done with Anthem yet? No. Okay. Oh, this has got to feel awful, Baron. Imagine having an itch right now. Just nothing really bad. Just picture an itch. Think about that. I'm not reading these. I don't care.
About half done.
Okay, hang on. I might care about that one. I was going to say, an itch would be bad, but there's a lot worse than having an itch problem here. Yeah, by the way, just because I'm curious, who's the top Anthem streamer right now? I suppose I should ask, where do I rank on that list? Because that's what I'm really asking. Apparently it is me. I'm so sorry. Let's see if any of this stuff has been counting, shall we? So we still need a bunch of ultimates. We're done with collectibles. We still need 6 treasure chests. Okay.
Watch it. They'll try to regroup.
One moment.
Corvus intel, it won't all be in one place. Looks like they brought friends.
So I need 6 treasure chests, 2 dead sentinels, and that's basically it, because killing things with ultimate is going to be a joke. So, how do I find dead sentinels? There's a question I never thought I'd be asking. Group up a bit more. Group up more. Okay, fine. Timer here. Where the hell do I find treasure chests? How the hell do I find treasure chests? Hang on, I just had a thought. Hang on. Horrible, horrible thought.
Good job. That scar isn't hurting anyone anymore. Hey, you've done it. The agent's sacrifice wasn't in vain. I'm sure Corvus will appreciate our efforts. The agent made the world a little safer at the end.
You get chests after doing events, right? And that counted. So I need to go do 5 more events. Or I could use this map that Zeiss just gave me. Sure. What do we got here? Then all I'll need is to find some sentinels. Somewhere. Where the hell am I? Okay, so I want to be... I don't know. Hazardous? No, I think there were 2 other players. I could see him on the minimap earlier. Yeah, that's where I'm heading, Zeiss, or at least I think that's where I'm heading. See you around, Baron. Enjoy life. Or don't. Really? Really? Not that. There's no way to put custom things down on the minimap or on the map, are there? Looks like he is the only other player right now. The guy I just passed. Everyone else is gone. No, there's no days enemies yet. Thank goodness. Worst invention WoW ever had. Is it really that? God, it is that time, isn't it? No, you're right. I should probably go ahead and chop off here and do the nap thing, especially for a game like this. So I will. So for those of you on YouTube,